Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the 234th edition of the Boxing Asylum Nuthouse podcast. I'm your host, Steve Wellings. I'm joined by Adam Smith, Dave the Hater Lowback, Andy Patterson, and the Guru, Tommy Allen. Starting bang on time tonight, guys. Plenty of people looking on. We're going to be spewing the hate. Nobody wants to hear what I've got to say. We're going to go over to the guys pretty sharpish, very briefly. I said last week, Josh Taylor will be winning the fight when Ohara Davies caught him in the 10th round and knocked him out. I was wrong, thankfully, and I am very, very happy to be wrong, Andy. Ohara, he had a go, but ultimately, this was about levels. I didn't think it was going to be such a gap in levels, but that is exactly what transpired.
I don't know where to start, actually. Oh, fuck, man. As I says, I was sober last night, stone cold sober. That was absolutely tremendous. I think what really set it up was the chief support, Jason Easton against Jamoy. That was fucking fantastic. But we'll get on to the other stuff in a bit. As you say, it was all about levels there last night. I think I did say last week that I hadn't really watched a lot of kind of Ohara Davies. I was talking to Brian King, as I say, Ringside last night. And he said he'd been away and he checked a fair bit of Ohara Davies. Foot movement pretty shoddy. I mean, what the fuck was he doing last night, coming out in that stupid wee crouch and bringing the elbow up, trying to kind of, whatever that kind of resemblance for a fucking jab was. He seemed to kind of like just wing shots in for every fucking angle he could manage, or even, I mean, his foot movement was awful, his stance was shit. Taylor just made him look like an absolute novice, and he massaged that body like a motherfucker, by the way. Now, when I was sitting at ringside there, I never saw the quit, so I didn't really kind of go balls deep on it. But I don't really know if that right hook that Josh fucking threw actually landed fully. I think it probably just kind of caught him. If he caught him fucking flush, I think he'd have been knocked out. Absolute fucking tremendous. I mean, the shit has been getting spewed about this guy for ages now. He's been on about he's world class and he's banteristic and his entertainment. There's not an entertainment about him. He's just an annoying wee twat. Tommy's met him before. Tommy says he's a sound guy away from Twitter and all that sort of stuff. If that's what you got to do to fucking drum interest in the fight and stuff like that, then, fucking give it up. You need to fucking leave Tony Sims and you need to go somewhere else and learn how to fight. Because, as you say, it was all about levels there last night. Absolutely fucking brilliant performance for Josh Taylor. Now, some people says didn't go overboard and stuff because, Davies isn't really all that good. We knew he was hype and his amateur pedigree was shocking and stuff. In the day, it's not about the level that your opponent, it's the manner and how you actually take care of that opponent, and Josh absolutely schooled him there last night, physically and mentally. Ohara Davies will never be the same fighter again if he ever becomes a fighter. Sparring with the Toei mob and all that stuff. What a shower of fucking fiends they are, by the way. Shower of fiends. I mean, if Ohara Davies can sell tickets I want to know how many he sold, because there was not one fucker in there last night who was actually cheering for him. And Eddie Hearn, you're a fucking wanker. Get her up, you. A lot of yous. Absolutely fucking brilliant. Well done, Josh, mate. Yeah, done us fucking proud. We've got a good fucking fighter to get ourselves behind now. Ricky Burns, man, I watched that fight when I got home last night. It was, I think he said after 6 rounds, Ricky said he had it close. Fucking close! Fucking Josh was fucking schooling him, man. Fucking, I gave it Ohara a round, maybe 1 round if you fucking...
Yeah, I think, Andy, Ricky was like sort of towing the matchroom line, which you can understand. But I mean, what affinity has he got to Ohara Davies, really? I mean, as if he gives a shit about Davies and Davies gives a shit about him.
Well, this is the thing. I don't know about the situation. I was saying to Tommy about this last night, actually. How the fuck is it that certain matchroom fighters are going to go with certain trainers, like Sörlin do in Germany and Sweden and stuff? It just doesn't fucking make sense. Tony Sims might be a good fitness trainer or a good fitness boxer-size type fucking trainer. He's no fucking boxing trainer. I don't care what anybody says. I've not seen any improvements in Ricky Burns. And I love Ricky, by the way, but I've never seen Ricky improve since he left Billy Nelson. I've seen nothing for Ohara Davies. But what was the game plan there last night? Just to fucking be awkward for a couple of rounds, fucking move about, and let Josh try and figure him out. Now, Josh figured them out pretty quick. And as I say, the body shots, man, were absolutely fucking ferocious. I don't know how they looked on TV, but see, at ringside, man, those were sickening shots.
Yeah.
And, okay, I'm not wanting to go too heavy on... I've been too heavy on Twitter today, because I've been buzzing. I've never been this buzzing after a fight in a long time, as I say to you, Steve, after the... before we went live there. It was absolutely incredible last night. I did this, nothing to drink. I never slept a wink all night. I've been thinking about it all night. It's been fucking amazing. As I say, it was a one-sided domination, but That's what that's what you expect. People at that level, you expect your guy to go in there and basically dominate him, and that's exactly what he did. It's onwards and upwards. Ricky Burns, I want to see that fight happening soon. I think that fight could possibly, with the right promotion, none of this pish for Eddie Hearn, no fucking picking up the slack and stuff. I think we should basically look at this fight sometime between the end of the year and early next year in the Hydro or the SECC. I don't think there's a stadium fight. Maybe it might be Easter Road and that, but I'm not too sure. But I think it would fill out the Hydro possibly, maybe even the SECC. So get that fucking fight made next. Carl Frampton and Shane McGuigan are basically saying that believe he's at world level just now. It's possible. It's possible. I think that a fighter who's going to stand in front of Josh Taylor, he's going to look absolutely. He's going to look world class. He might get some problems with guys that push him back and maybe kind of put educated pressure on him. Davis, as I say, I didn't want to go too balls deep on him like I did on Twitter and stuff. I suppose you could say is he took his licks for as long as he could, and then he quit. But nature of the beast isn't that. This isn't me being smart or anything. Everybody knows this. Boxing's it's not a game you fucking quit on. As Freddie Pacheco says, a man's fight is to the death or short to the death. And the excuses that he used, my two noses were blocked. Fucking hell, what kind of mutant are you, by the way? Two noses were blocked. I followed it on for too long. I'll let Tommy kind of pile in here because he says it was absolutely fucking brilliant there last night.
Yeah, I'm going to bring Tommy in here. Simon Olavia just got in touch there and he said we're all indebted to Josh Taylor. What was the problem? Why did Davies quit, Tommy? His two noses were busted. It was Josh who did the business on the nose.
You better believe it, mate. That's just an excuse. The guy did want it last night. I thought Josh was absolutely tremendous last night. He was excellent defensively. He was catching most of Davis' punches. I seen a close fight. I was nervous going into that fight for Josh. I thought Davis was going to put up a better showing than he did. Maybe being a wee bit guilty overrating him a wee bit, but I thought Josh was tremendous last night. His body work, even fairly in the fight, was tremendous. His power punching that looked excellent. It was just a really, really. It was a good polished performance from him. He's definitely on the cusp of big things. The Ricky Burns fight, I want to see it. I'm not too keen on the Crawler fight. No, I was up for that, but there's only one fight that's going to happen over here. I agree with Andy what he says. We'll get that into the Hydro. We'll get it packed out. That's a big, massive night for Scottish boxing. With the winner probably getting a title fight after it as well. That was a great night. I was steaming last night, man. I just watched the fight back today actually. When I kind of came to a wee bit, but
Tommy, didn't you think Ohara was doing okay from ringside? Not brilliant, but okay.
I did. I thought Josh was winning the fight, but see where we were sitting, right? It was kind of hard to see because you were at the corner and there was two cameramen right on the apron, so you were you couldn't really see much of what was going on, even though we had good seats. But I watched it back today. I seen a completely different fight. A few drinks and that last night as well. But I think I gave O'Hara Davis. I think I gave him one round, and that was it. Josh was just in control of the fight all the time, wasn't he?
Certainly was, Tommy. Just briefly before we get to Mido in, I'm a cultural casual when it comes to all this. I see these people going on about this ARG or this ARG and all these Essex boys. I know nothing about it, Tommy. Do you want to slay these fools? I
didn't watch it either. I'm with you, mate. I basically know them for cutting about O'Hara Davis. We've seen them on Twitter and that. I didn't watch that shit or that either, man. I think that's probably something that
there was a cunt going about with a quiff that looked like a fucking coup had licked it into place, by the way. Fucking hell, man.
Apparently, they're on this show called The Only Way is Essex. So they sound like elitist cunts.
Just fucking Essex fucking. I didn't watch the pish either, by the way. But they said you need to go into O'Hara Davis's explanation on why he's got heart, because he was on the main event on Channel 5. That proved that he's got heart. Yeah. You fucking shot your heart out your arse, by the way.
Hater, let's talk about this heart. We had a messaging from Toby Hines. He said, O'Hara turning from battle and tiring after taking punishment and also taking account from a jab had a bit of the Nigel Benn versus Michael Watson for me. Let's talk about O'Hara's heart, Dave. Brave performance, do you think, or was it just a quick job, plain and simple?
No, it was a brave, quick job. It was definitely a quick job, but until the pain became too much when I guess his nose got broken, rearranged by that beautiful counter right hook as he stepped back. But yeah, I mean, he tried hard. He had no game plan, apparently, no technical fundamentals, but he threw a lot. He won shots, and he wasn't like now Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. That's more of a quit job. Well, that's like a cowardly non-quit job. Like, he didn't quit. He stayed in there all 12 rounds, but he freaking did nothing. So at least Ohara tried, made it like entertaining. So I give him credit for that. It was sort of like it reminded me a little of Broner Maidana, like the European Broner Maidana. Totally different style of fights, but it was one of those where you have like the darling that Matchroom wants to hype up, Al Heyman wants to hype up and make this big star, and he gets exposed. He really has had nothing to offer. Sorry, that's my dog in the background. Really had nothing to offer.
Joe Gallagher there as well.
All right, Joe.
In terms of
Evening,
skills.
Joe.
I was very impressed with Josh Taylor. I'm not really that interested in a Ricky Burns fight, honestly. I think Ricky's pretty much past it. And not only that, I think that I want to see Josh Taylor move on to bigger and better things than Ricky Burns. I mean, maybe it's a fight that has to happen for the sake of Scotland and the Scottish fans, sort of like a passing of the torch from one world level Scottish fighter to the next. But yeah, I'd like to see maybe even Ndongo versus Josh Taylor. That was a really fun performance. He looked excellent. I had picked Ohara Davies, but obviously I didn't know anything about either guy really. I'd only seen Davies once, and Josh Taylor, I think all I saw out of him was a few highlights. Well, he's arrived now, as far as I'm concerned.
Did you fall for the Eddie Hearn bullshit if you picked Ohara Davison?
Maybe. No, my pick was based on purely based on athleticism. From what you guys told me, Josh Taylor was the better skilled boxer, and I figured Ohara would be the better athlete with the better speed, better power overall. I think he might have been too, but it didn't make any difference because he just got totally schooled. Also, he didn't really have as much heart, or he didn't want it as much. He wasn't like a man possessed in there.
Yeah.
The panic was last night actually that Josh was going to get into a fucking slugging match straight for the bat, and that they were kind of worried in case he got clipped early doors, But I think I've seen once early in that fight, I seen Josh get clipped, and he just shook it off. I remember Tommy saying to me, we were getting kind of worried because he was loading up on a lot of the body shots Josh was throwing, and we was like, we think to ourselves, is he going to gas? Because if you look at the weigh-in, he was really cut out the weight. I don't know if he's on. I don't think he's on borrowed time as such, but I think he's fucking freakishly huge for that weight at 140. I just thought, he's going in here balls deep. I don't want you to gas in that, but no, it looked like I thought Davison maybe trying to get a wee kind of foothold room about the sixth and that, but he just got absolutely fucking annihilated thereafter. And says he wants to get put to the ropes. Imagine getting dropped off a jab like that. Jesus Christ! I mean, I know you talked about Nigel Benn getting dropped off a jab, but he was spent. That was in the third round. He got fucking dropped off that jab.
Do you know why, Andy? I think it was his fundamentals, wasn't it?
Shit balance, shit footwork in that, man. He's flat-footed. As I say, I don't know what that resembles a game plan there was last night. He had this shitty wee crouch, leading with the head, and then he dropped that run about the third or the fourth round. And he tried to do a poor man's Mike Tyson and stuff, and just fucking winging shots and that, man. It was just, he's awful.
Well, it's Andy, it's a style that's worked for him. He hasn't had to do anything different because of the level of opposition.
Exactly, that is the problem. I mean, there's a prime example there last night. Jason Easton, he had a great fight there. That was probably worth 3 fights against bums there last night that he had there. The experience, Billy Nelson came out of that fight there last night, fucking braving out his ass, man. He was like, fucking hell. I think they were really worried there last night because, you know, you thought that Easton was getting on top, and then fucking Jamoy was coming back, and he was getting it fucking big licks to, and then Jason stops him. And, you know, that's what I'm saying. What's his best win? A shot, Derry Matthews. You know,
yeah, pretty much. Scarpa, maybe. I don't know.
Scarpa, and he went a distance with him.
It really exposes to me the difference in focus between these two promotional groups. You have Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. They're very focused on the hype, the manufactured beef, the image, getting him to rub elbows with some, I don't know, so-called celebrities that are on this TV show or whatever. And then you have Barry McGuigan and even maybe Frank Warren's people to a degree as well. They focus on the boxing, like what it takes to actually win fights. And I think that really showed up last night. It was like a guy who was like this manufactured. just image of what a good athlete should be, and a guy who actually knows how to box and studies the sport and has a trainer who actually knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Right, Dave, I want to bring in Adam Smith here. Thanks for that contribution. Smitho, let's just focus on the Eddie Hearn angle to start off with. Tommy Roosh has sent in a question for you. He says, Smitho, do you think Hearn kept this weekend's fight as low-key as possible because he saw what might happen and wanted to shield Ohara's loss from the Matchroom and Sky casuals? I'm guessing this will be discussed, but where do both fighters go from here? What do you think about the first point, Smitho, Eddie Hearn, and he's in the build-up and stuff?
It sure felt that way, but I think that's an easy bullet to fire, given that it simply wasn't on Sky. Eddie did the normal things that he does: Snapchat, Twitter. Obviously, we didn't see any of the coverage on Sky for obvious reasons. So, like I say, I think that's an easy observation to make, but I don't think we can conclude that Eddie's just brushed it off completely, to be fair. Still did a quick interview last night with some Scottish IFL person, and, said fair play to Taylor, said fair play to the promotion as well. And he said, they sold a lot of tickets and it was a great atmosphere. So, I don't think we can criticise Eddie for that too much, his behaviour this week and last night.
Of course we can. Of course we can. We're the fucking Nuthouse. We can do what we want. Eddie Hearn's a wanker.
And so we've got evidence that Eddie Hearn is a wanker on video now, boys. So, but no, I think we can certainly criticise him for not putting his hand in his pocket and getting the fight on his platform. But he has been saying that it's time that we've got to find out how good people are. Well, we found out how good Ohara Davies is last night, and it's not very good. I am still of the opinion that he did get put down by a jab. Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a delayed reaction, and I think it was Davies was shocked by the excellence of the jab, really, and I think that wide stance caused him a bit of a problem, because I think when he went backwards after that jab, he almost his back leg almost looked like it twitched a little bit. Looked like there was some sort of maybe a slip or a bit of little damage or a strain done there. And I think after the knockdown, that's when we saw less movement from Davies. And that's when he went, as someone mentioned earlier, into the Mike Tyson trying to get on the inside kind of thing. So I think during that knockdown, I think some damage was done potentially, and it's caused Davies to change his game plan a little bit. But the original game plan wasn't anywhere near good enough. Taylor's accuracy last night and shot selection was superb. The guys have mentioned the body shots that were very good and did the damage. And overall, it was a very, very classy performance, and you can see the golfing amateur experience and class just shone through last night. But you've got to say, fair play to both of them, because, like you say, you're going to learn a lot from that fight. Neither of them will have been really in against anyone that refused to give up the centre ring and was basically in there to win. And that's just the day and age that we live in now. But massive fair play to Taylor. I thought it was an excellent performance. He showed good power. He was calm under pressure. Like I say, his shot selection was great. He's now felt that atmosphere. He would have been nervous going into the fight, as Tommy said he was personally. All round, it's a fantastic experience for him. He's got the exposure on Channel 5. I hope the figures were good. I don't know if they were. And potentially moving on to bigger and better things. And the thing with the Ricky Burns fight is, I think they could make that happen on Channel 5 for a number of reasons. Ricky Burns does not hold all the cards in that situation. He might not even hold the majority of the cards. We know he needs the money. We know he's not the priority for Matchroom. He's already been introduced and bullied a little bit on Channel 5 last night. I think that could definitely happen on the same platform.
Why are people losing their shit over that last night, by the way, about Burns?
It don't bother me. It don't bother me. I think they dealt with it pretty well, really. The lead anchor was decent enough. Obviously, Barry and Taylor are going to goad him a little bit and call him out. I've got no problem with how that was dealt with last night.
At the end of the day, they're rivals in the same division for the same country. Why should they not call them it?
This fight is going to happen. Simple. I mean, if people were moaning like fuck about Flanagan and Crawley not happening, these guys went to the same school in the same area and stuff like that. How the fuck can we not get these two fighting together? I agree with what Josh said there last night. Arthur gave Ricky a chance.
Aye.
Ricky maybe want to give Josh a chance. If the money's right, the fight's got to happen. Fucking, it's a no-brainer.
I like a passing of the torch thing type of situation.
Oh, definitely, mate. It's definitely, mate. Absolutely, definitely. I mean, as I say, I don't think after last night you're going to see her in Scotland much. Maybe one more time with Ricky Burns, maybe, and that might be it. But I think everybody made, I thought it was about 3,000 there last night. So I don't know what it sounded like on the TV for you guys. And it must have sounded like it was a lot more in there. But the absolute scenes after that fight fucking ended, man. It was absolute fucking. It was like Walking Dead carnage at that ringside, man. Fucking hell.
Tremendous, man.
What we're trying to get. Oh,
we're gonna come back to you boys about the chanting at Eddie Hearn as well. Dave, do you want to say something briefly before we bring
well, I was actually going to mention that after I saw the video of the chanting, it's pretty easy to spot Tommy ringside on the actual broadcast, that bright yellow shirt. You can see him on Channel 5. Actually, it looked to me like he was very shifting his stance nervously. I think he thought the fight was close, but then again, he said he was wasted. So
poor footwork from Tommy, I think.
Sure do, that's one.
Right, let's get Ozzy Smith in. Always good to have Ozzy on the line. Ozzy, feel free to talk about what you want. Let me just lead you in with this question from British Boxing Blog. He says, how easy will it be for Ohara Davies to bounce back? A few soft touches and a title, or will it take longer to recover from last night?
He's got the backing, providing they stay with him. They're on about bringing him back in October. I can't see them putting him in with a test, because I think somebody mentioned it before. I don't think he'll be the same person from this for a very long time. He got absolutely battered. It wasn't even close. He was manhandled. He was bullied. He didn't know what to do when he got hit. It's like, oh, I've not been hit before, and he got absolutely battered. After that, I don't see where he goes in British sense. I think Catterall beats him. I think Nurse beats him. I think Robbie Davis Jr. beats him. So where do you go? Do you go the foreign route again, bringing these imports in and winning these fringe WBC, WBO belts and trying to manufacture a shot that way? I think he was found out massively. I've never bought into the hype at all, because he's not beat anybody decent. Derry Matthews is never a light welterweight. I still think he could make super feather. So he's gone up when he was a lot smaller. So no, it's difficult. I don't see where he comes back at Davis. He can obviously punch, but he's got a lot to work on.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ozzy, you mentioned all the names you thought would beat him there. Is that hindsight, or were you saying that beforehand? Did you always see these type of flaws? Because I must admit, I fell for the hype a little bit.
I've always thought, I've never thought he's been the best. I know people who've sparred with him, and he was the one who broke Conor Benn's jaw in a sparring session. That's why he's been out for a while. And they've all said he can punch, and he is awkward, but he's very beatable. And as soon as the fight was made with Taylor, I thought straight away, I went to the Taylor-Dave Ryan fight, and he made Dave Ryan look like a novice. And Ryan's been there, done it, and had some tough fights. And he battered Dave Ryan as well. So I thought, no, definitely Taylor beats him. And it was just straightforward for him, wasn't it? But I don't see him beating anybody in the top level British ones. I tell you what could be a good and fun fight, with Jason Easton, who boxed last night, because he gets tagged Easton, but at the same time he can punch himself, and that was an enjoyable fight. And like Andy mentioned, that fight against Jamoy last night, he will learn more in that than boxing 10 imports that come over and just stand there to get beat.
I think you're right about Davis having a bit of a dig on him as well, Ozzy, because we saw Taylor's nose blooded from some punch or another. Just looking at it from a technical point of view, Taylor got the jab working on point. He was able to switch stances. The body shots, I think, were just taking the wind out of Davis all night.
Excellent, yeah. Straight away, it's obviously they worked on that, and he's an excellent body. He looked really good close up, Josh Taylor, really, really good. He looked better, I thought, close up than he did from a distance. And like I said, he just targeted the body, and you could see Davis wincing. I was watching it on the TV, and you could see him wincing when he was taking the shots. And then when he did get caught with the jab, which put him down, I think because the tank was going, I just think there was very little left. And luckily, I think the bell saved him. Had there been another 30 or 40 seconds, I think Taylor would have wiped him out.
Thanks, Ozzy. Stay on the line for as long as you can. We'll come to you back on the BoxNation card shortly.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Just before we go to the Guru to talk us through his altercation with Edward Hearn, let's get on first-time caller Rob Barnett. Rob, how you doing? Rob, you're just on mute there. If you're able to just unmute yourself, if there's a mute button, Rob.
Right, am I unmuted now?
We can hear you perfect. Go on ahead there.
Sweet, yeah. Good to be chatting to you guys. Listened to your pod for a few years. Yeah, last night was fucking weird. I've got to admit, I had Davis down to beat him, being the casual that I am. But yeah. Well, no, the thing is, I know Taylor's fucking class, but I just had that horrible feeling, you know, that horrible feeling that he might do it. But what the fuck was Davis doing? He was shit, wasn't he? Shit. His footwork was terrible. What stance was he even posing? I don't even know. It was embarrassing, to be honest. You kind of get the impression that he was going there just for the money. All he bangs on about is money. Does he actually really care about his boxing career? I don't know. What do you guys think?
No, I don't think so. I think he was going for the heel. And like I said in the second or third round when he got dropped, Rob, that he was swallowing. And I thought he was looking for a way out. And I will give him his credit that he came back in rounds 4, 5 and 6 and really had a go, because I thought he was ready for the quit in round 3. So it didn't come as a surprise when he did look for the way out at the end. But, I mean, I don't know. He's a bit of a celebrity. He's been found out. Will he be another Anthony Small? Do you remember Anthony Small, Rob? There's a name for you.
Yeah, I do remember him. And just talking about Davis then, that third round, I mean, it was barely a jab that landed. Do you know what I mean? It's embarrassing, really. And I don't know. It's Taylor's class. He's going places, that boy. He is absolute sheer class. Comes across a good guy. You know, I'm English, but I wanted Taylor to kick his ass last night, and he did. But yeah, I just don't know if Davis. He's all about the money, isn't he? How long is he realistically going to stay around for? Who's he going to beat?
Well, what's the money going to be like now? He got what, over 100k for that last night. He's not going to be getting paydays like that, is he?
He's fucking saying he's wanting top fights next. Top fights. He's needing fucking fights where he can actually, you know, like Jason Easton there last night, proper legit tests so he can learn.
Yeah, but it's like you said on I saw your tweet, Andy. It's like you saying that he might have earned 6 figures, but how much fat is he realistically going to see?
50 grand.
Yeah, he ain't going to get another payday like that again for a while, is he? And to be fair, like, you know, you get the odd special fighter, and I think Taylor's one of them. They've pushed him on, and they realised that Davis wasn't really a test, did they?
Yeah.
He's got WBC bloody silver title, whatever it is, and he's going to move on. Fair play to him. They know what they're doing.
Well, you know what, Rob? Davis's performance last night really showed the worth of that WBC silver title, but we knew that anyway. It's just a bag of shit.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt, yeah.
What about Taylor then? Where's he going to go next? Ricky Burns fight? How do you see that going? I mean, Taylor has to be a strong favourite, doesn't he, at this juncture?
Taylor would beat him. Fucking hell. I think I tweeted, I was pissed last night. I think I tweeted one of you boys last night saying Burns is probably the shittest freeweight world champ ever. No
I remember you now.
Yeah, that was me, yeah. Is there a shitter freeweight world champ, really?
Robert Guerrero, bit harsh.
Cloner.
Brown is full-weight, isn't he? He's
Duke McKenzie.
But I like Burns. He seems like a nice enough guy and stuff. But fucking hell, he's never been elite, has he? Let's face it. But yeah, Taylor would wipe the floor with him. No doubt about that. No doubt.
Anything else you want to add while you're with us, Rob?
No, that's great. Thanks for your time, chaps. Enjoy listening to the pod, and yeah, take it easy.
Excellent stuff. Cheers, Rob.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, mate.
All the best. Bye. Rob Barnett there. Right, Guru, you still with us?
I'm here, mate. Aye.
See, before you go to that, by the way, just talking about how much Davis earned there last night, 50 grand. He's listening. He's going to hopefully join the call. Andy McCart, right? He was working in IFL last night. I was fucking poorless at this. Fucking Ohara Davis, thick as fuck, says I'm earning 6 figures for that fight last night. He was actually earning 5 figures after tax and that. But he says I got paid 6 figures for that last night. And Andy McCart, quick as you fucking like, says, well, I'm getting paid 3 figures a night for Coogan, so just answer the question.
Fair play. Tommy, Rio Tonka's thrown in a question. He said, can you ask the Guru to walk us through his interaction with Hearn last night? What happened? What went down?
I can't really remember too much. I think Andy would be better answering. I remember him coming in and he walked by us and made this gay sound and we started calling my wanker and a prick and fuck stop pub and stuff like that. Get the band going and that, but I can't really mind much after the fight. And that. I remember he was raging. He was raging when he came out, Andy. Yeah.
Oh, I was raging, mate. Right, I'll do my best to try and piece it together.
Right.
Brian King came here beside us. I'm not going to drop any names about the security and that, but my mate was working on security there last night, and I had a wee chat with him before the ring walks, and I says to him, "Bam up Eddie Hearn when he comes at the ring, right?" So obviously the ring walks are happening. We're told to stand back a wee bit, right, for security and that, which is brand new, right? And in walks Ohara Davies, and he is getting absolutely crucified. And Eddie Hearn beforehand is getting fucking pummeled left, right, and centre. You're a wanker, this, that, the next thing. And he walked in, right? And fucking Brian just was literally like, I kid you not, it was literally like an arm's reach for me. Just stuck his finger right into his fucking face. You're a fucking prick. And all Hearn could do was like, ha ha ha. Right? And then fucking Tommy's like, ah, you're a fucking prick. And next minute, fucking Hearn's like, ah, look at the state of you. Is that all you've got, you fucking wank? Is that all you've got? So he gets to the ring, and my mate who's working with security is like, ah, stops him, asks him who he is, right? He then asks to see his pass to get into the ring. So Eddie's trying to show him his wrist. You know, you get these passes put on your wrist and stuff like that. The boy says, no, you need to wait there, stand there. And then he puts his glasses on to go and try and check the pass. That thing really fucks him off and lets him get in the ring. I was like, fucking get it up, you. And see during the announcements and that, you could see him just looking at us and that. I caught him a few times looking at us. I'm like, yeah, fucking tosser, fucking Botox, fucking plugged-haired wank piece.
Okay, fair enough, Andy. Right, we've got Terry Dooley on the line. Terry, how you sounding tonight, Terry? You okay?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Not too bad. What did you think about this Davies-Taylor fight? That's what we're talking about at the moment.
Yeah, it was great. Like I said last night on Twitter, sometimes boxing kicks you in the teeth a fair bit, and if this often a fight pops up, that's well matched. There's a lot, even though there wasn't what I consider major titles on the line, there's a lot of pride on the line. I just thought it was a great night for boxing. Domestically, because it was on Channel 5 as well. So hopefully a few people picked up and are talking about it. And I thought it was great. I thought Taylor very much deserved the win. It reminded me of a fight, I mentioned it last night, I saw a fight years ago, the first fight he covered for the BritishBoxers.net called between Donovan Smiley and Stephen Bendall. And Stephen was a smart southpaw. Donovan was quite a tough orthodox fighter who just gambled on the right hand left foot combination and gambled on taking the guy out. And the moment the fight started back then, I think it was about 2004, 2005 in commentary, but I'd have to double check, at dinner show. And as soon as he lined up, Stephen got his footwork perfectly, and you just knew it was curtains from that point onwards. It's not always the case that when a southpaw gets his feet right in the start of the fight, he's always going to pan out a certain way. But the onus is then on the orthodox fighter to adapt. And Davies should didn't adapt. Taylor was perfect throughout the fight. And I think the end was coming from the 5th round onwards. Obviously, we had the big banner the other week about the Ward Coppola fight, and when I said I thought the end was coming from round 5 onwards. But I think sometimes for a fighter is so out of his step in terms of ability, which people probably didn't expect with Davies, although some people said because of the amateur experience, Davies was out of his step in the first place. But I just think Taylor got everything so right and so spot on. Davies was never getting into the fight unless he just tried to land a big banjo type shot, and his footwork just wasn't in the position it's been to land that shot. His left hand low, and he was just wide open for the southpaw punches. So, barring a big shot just coming out of the blue and catching Taylor on the chin, I think it was plain sailing for him, and he deserved the win, and emphatically so.
Terry, you were going to tell us something about the amount of rounds in fights or something. I've forgotten the string of that one.
Yeah, I remember we talked last week about Fowler and the amateur fighters turning over, and it pertains as well to the fight last night between Davies and Taylor. Because I'll be honest, I don't follow amateur boxing. I know a lot of people build up amateur experience, but I think when you turn professional, it's a totally different ball game. So I thought Davies having the Derry Matthews fight, although Matthews was past his best, I thought that was a good learning fight for him because he had the pressure of this persona. The persona might be that it's a bit of a dick and acts like a bird before fights. I think by acting the way he did before the Matthews fight, he put a lot of pressure on himself, Davies. And I think that fight was a good learning one for him because he must have gone to bed before the Matthews fight and thought, what if Derry sparks me out and does something that he's not supposed to do? And makes me look bad. And I think that pressure playing the bad guy, but actually on the fighter. Whereas I think with Taylor came across as such a nice guy. Win, lose or draw, he could rebuild and move on with the goodwill of people behind him. Whereas Davies, if he lost a fight, would be villainized and made people look like a bad guy, which has been the case. But to go back to the original point which we talked about last week, I think if you're a decent amateur fighter, you've got a certain skill level. Well, the thing that you've not got is maybe the rounds in the bank, the 6 rounds and beyond experience. And we were talking about Fowler last week and fighters who turn over with good amateur pedigree. And I believe for a long time, going back to Mark Rayland and Evander Holyfield and those guys, they turned over in 6-round fights, 6 3-minute rounds. And I think that's what I think. If you're a decent amateur and you're training full time in the gym with a decent trainer, you've got a lot of money behind you as well going into the pro game. If the amateur turning over should fight a 6 minutes 3-round fight, I don't believe in amateur fighters fighting over 4 rounds. I don't like 4-round fights in general. We saw with Marcus Morrison last week in a 4-round fight. If you drop 1 round, it might give you a dip in confidence and you might draw or lose the next round. And now you're staring at a defeat or a draw straight off the bat. I used to watch a guy called Alex Matvienko a lot. He was called the one-man riot and he slowly used to build himself into fights. He was not a star amateur by any means. He was just a tough, smaller fighter. And he ate the 4-round fights because he said you can't build yourself into the fight. And he also waited. We used to do it. They do 6 2-minute round fights as well. And he said you can't get yourself into the round in those fights, and before you know it, the fight's over. So you look at someone like Anthony Joshua. From the moment he turned pro, he was scheduled for 6 3-minute rounds. So if I'm a top-level amateur and I'm scheduled for 4 3-minute rounds, I'm going to look at that and think, why am I not going for the 6 rounds straight off the bat? It doesn't make sense. I think it's a dangerous game to play. I think if you're a top amateur, you've got the skills there, you're working hard in the gym. I think you should fight over 6 3-minute rounds straight off the bat. And another thing that I think, and I'm not trying to sound like Nigel Farage because I can't stand the guy, a British fighter in your pro debut if you're a star amateur, because the chances are the British fighter has watched you as a star amateur or see you come through the ranks or maybe fight in the Olympics. I think I'm going to scalp this guy because if I scalp this guy, I'm going to get double the money at least. And I think that's something that should happen. I'm not about it by any means. I love the Alien films, and I'm a big fan of Prometheus, and I even like Alien Covenant. But I think an amateur turning over, it should be 6 3-minute rounds, and he should fight a British opponent. And ideally, a former English champion, maybe he's had a couple of defeats, just to get yourself that experience. Because if you get into the 4th, 5th, and 6th rounds to a former amateur, you're going to be learning things that you've not learned before. You're going to be breathing a bit more deeper than you've experienced before in the past. So it's just something I believed in for a while, and we talked about it last week in terms of Fowler and these guys and what you should expect from them. And I was just thinking about it all last Sunday night because I thought, it's a good point. What's a level playing field for these top amateurs? I think it's to turn pro 6-3 straight off the bat. Cordina is fighting, has done 3 fights over 4 3-minute rounds, and I just don't think you're learning anything from those fights, even if you go to the 4th round, because you're training week in and week out in the gym, and the guys that you're training and fighting against might not have that level of fitness, so to speak, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Terry, really busy night, as you can appreciate. Quite a few guys looking to get on. So just one more question for you. What do you think about the vitriolic reception Ohara Davies has received since he quit last night?
Yeah,
Gold.
I understand the narrative that is going on with Twitter these days and the internet in general. Back when I first started posting on boxing forums, I used to post on the Boxing Monthly forum, and it wasn't even a forum, it was a guest book that we kind of thought hijacked and turned into a forum. And I was a big Audley Harrison fan at the time. So when Audley lost his first fight, I backed him. And a few people came on and they were posting and saying it's great that he's lost. Then one guy was like he was having a Mars bar and a Red Bull coming back and just doing post after post after post about Audley losing the fight. And I think someone like Davies, with his persona, he's opened himself up to this criticism. So I think he needs to take it on the chin. But I think we've been a bit too vitriolic about the criticism we give him. He's had a bad night at the office. Maybe if he gets a few tweets saying, look, I'm not a fan of yours, but this is what you've done wrong, this is how you can fix it. But I think he's fair game because of his public persona. This guy called James Argent, some kind of minor celebrity. He's not a minor to me, he looks like he's about 50 years old. And he's been getting stick as well. And he's fair game as well because he stuck his head above the trenches and said, look, my guy's going to win this fight. And if someone like myself or you, Steve, or one of the guys came out and said that Davies was going to win the fight, tagged a load of people into that conversation and made a big bones about how he was going to win the fight, and you're open to abuse. But the one thing that I don't agree with that I've seen on social media is just searching out people who are casual fans who would say, my boy Davies is going to win the fight, quoting their tweet and then giving them a bit of abuse. makes us look bad as boxing fans. We're a niche sport, with a sport that people are constantly trying to attack. So I think that makes us look bad as fans. We should be a bit more. Davies behaved badly in the build-up to his past couple of fights. I think we should rise above that. And if he made 1 or 2 tweets where he gets a bit of stick and I say, right, this is what you did wrong and this is my opinion, I'm going to give it to you respectfully. Otherwise, we just make ourselves, I think, look as bad as Davies. We need to rise above that type of level of thinking. And I know that's not a popular opinion, but I just think we've gone too vitriolic. It seems to be a bit hysterical as well, the reaction to the fight. So I just think that's a social media rage type thing, and it's just something that we see day in and day out. But it's not my cup of tea, although I know some guys on the panel may disagree with me. But I just think it's gone a bit too far in terms of the vitriol that we give to people. Davies has come out, he's admitted that he lost to the better man. I believe he made some kind of statement today on the Periscope or whatever he did, saying that he had there was a reason why he quit out. He didn't want to fight anymore. He made it clear to the referee. There's a difference between quitting and quitting out, where you just make it clear to the referee that you don't want to carry on rather than just taking a knee and taking the count and ducking out the fight. But he quit out in that fight. It's going to be an Achilles tendon for him in fights going forward. So he had to. It'd be similar to when we all have to go to work. If you have a bad day at work where everything turns out shit and you don't do your job properly, the last thing you need when you walk out of work at the end of the day is a bunch of people saying you're shit, you've done shit, and you're going to do shit for the rest of your life. So I think give him maybe 1 or 2 tweets where you let him know that he's behaved badly in the past, and then maybe tell him how he needs to react moving forward. And I think Dave Caldwell said the same thing himself. He said in terms of his persona, if you're going to adopt that persona, that bad boy persona, you need to be as good as Floyd Mayweather. And no British fighter is as good as Floyd Mayweather. And in terms of British personalities and the way the British people are, it just doesn't jive well with the British personality. So I think Davies needs to have a look at himself. He just needs to have a look at his style, his stance, build his legs up a little bit and think, you know what, I need to look at my attitude as well, and maybe take a leave that change the Gales book, if that makes sense.
Certainly does, Terry. Appreciate you coming on again. Thanks very much.
No, but guys, you hope the angle was that too bad, and I see a few of you had a good time last night, so fair play.
Just still.
Yes, we'll get you on next week, okay?
Cheers, mate. Have a good one. Thanks,
Thank you. Bye. Terry Dooley there. Terry's chocolate orange segment. That's the best I can come up with for that one at the moment. Right, we've got Rob Kelly jumped on the call and also Andy McCart. Before we get them on, Andy Patterson, very briefly. We were a bit worried at 6 o'clock this afternoon. Periscope, Ohara Davies.
Yeah.
It went better than we thought. You were thinking the same as me?
I don't want to go too hard on the guy. You know, he's maybe concussed. I don't know. I tell you, I made no sense of that. I actually had to go and speak to the local wino down the street and actually get him to translate it for me. I had no clue what he was talking about. It made no sense whatsoever. As I said earlier in the show there, you know, apparently he showed heart because he was on the main event on Channel 5 and he quit because he couldn't breathe out his 2 noses. You said in the past, you know, Chico Corrales, he's fought through bad fucking cuts. Juan Manuel Marquez, you know, there's been thousands of them. You know, Chris Eubank swallowing blood in that first fight against Nigel Benn. They fought on. That is the nature of the beast, unfortunately. But, you know, as I say, at the end of the day, you know, mentally and physically, he got absolutely ruined last night. I don't think we'll see him in any way, shape or form, even at European level. I just think he got absolutely ruined there last night.
Okay, let's get on the other Andy McCart. I believe he was there last night covering the fight for IFL. We're going to call you Andy Three Figures McCart. You rolling in it today?
I hope I've done this right, guys. Can you hear me?
We can hear you perfect.
Right,
go ahead,
good
sir.
stuff, man. This is my first time listening and being on the call, so bear with me. I was there last night covering it for IFL and my own website, First Class Boxing. I couldn't stand in press row. I had to walk away because I've been good friends with Josh since he was 15 years old, so I'm just over the moon for the kid, man. I said that 6-7 months before he turned professional that he's going to be a world champion. Nobody listened to me. Nobody believed me, and I'm going to be proven right in the next year or so. He's going to be a world champion. That fight against Davies last night, he was leagues above. He's people talking about his amateur pedigree, but he was in the WSB as well, Olympian. He's fought 10 O'Hara Davises already, Josh Taylor. You know, he's fought every single style out there throughout his amateur pedigree and his 10 fights so far as a pro. There was just no way Davies was beating him last night. Just absolutely no way. And it was shown. And I think I was proven right with my prediction months and months. I think it was Paul Webb on Twitter today said that I told him 6 months before Josh turned pro that he'd be a world champion. And I'm going to be proven right, guys. I'm telling you right now, he's just a phenomenal athlete, man. He lives in the gym. And you've seen it there last night with shot selection, his footwork. He can box at range. He can box on up close in the pocket, on the back foot, on the front foot. He's got power in both hands. He's a switch hitter. Can you say anything negative about Josh? Seriously, and what he does as a fighter, you can't really say anything negative about the boy. And I know the Scottish boys like Big Tommy and Andy there, and even Brian King, they've jumped on the bandwagon. They've ditched Ricky and they've come over to Josh, I think, man. So
yeah,
I've been with Josh as the Commonwealths, mate.
Oh, there we go. Hey, good man.
Yeah,
I knew you
from the beginning. Because he signed with McGuigan, didn't he? I think I saw it. Did he make his debut in Belfast? I've definitely seen about 3 or 4 of his early fights.
He made his debut in Texas. His second fight was in Belfast, and his third fight was in Edinburgh. He's fought in Cardiff. He went back to Manchester. New York. He's fought in Vegas. Three fights in Edinburgh and 1 fight in Glasgow. So he's fought 10 fights in his pro career. He's fought in the States 3 times, all over the UK. So Manchester, he was on the Quig undercard, Quig Frampton undercard as well. So.
Andy, just 1 sec. Let me just bring in Adam Smith here. Smitho, go ahead.
The only negative I've got is
don't you dare!
I thought he was starting to gas a little bit. You know, might have been the occasion, obviously the first title, you know, to 12-round fight and all that. But I just thought he was starting to slow down a little bit. But obviously, he got the job done in spectacular fashion with that right hook. But that was my only question mark for me. Can I just
talk on that? But sorry, what was it? Is it Smitho?
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. I went to the changing rooms during the Jason Easton fight. Like maybe half an hour before Josh came on, and the same thing he had in that shake, like you knew he had that nervous energy, and I think that's what it was. It was the nervous energy that he would build up for the fight, because again, it was fighting in Glasgow against this guy. Can you still hear me?
Go ahead.
Sorry, man, I'm fucking new at this shite, man. I can see it, and he was kind of had that agitated state. Wasn't he as relaxed as I'd seen him before the other fights, like the fights with Warren Joubert in his last fight, even the Dave Ryan fight, and the fight in Manchester, the Scott Quigg fight. He had that shakiness about him. You know, he was agitated. He was walking up and down. So I think a lot of that energy had been spent in the changing room before he even entered the ring. If that makes any sense to you.
I know what you mean.
You know, I think the build up and all that sort of stuff. He really wanted to hurt this guy. He really wanted to get him out there, put in a performance, and do the damage. Like I spoke to Ohara Davis last night. You've seen my IFL video. And I spoke to him off camera. Like, I was like, "Use man, the guy, the way he talks on Twitter and all that, you think that's his personality, but he was actually quite a nice guy. To be fair to him, he was, I think he knows it's a persona that he's playing. I think he's in the sport for the money. Titles don't mean nothing to him. As long as I think it's all bread and butter, like bread from him. He just wants to get paid and live the extravagant lifestyle, drive the fast cars, have nice. He wants to catch up to the Towie cast. You know, they're driving the nice cars. They've got the nice watches, the Rolexes, the hublets, and all that crap. I think that's what he wants. You know, Josh is in this to have a legacy, to win titles, to see how far he can go, fight the best, and just get to the top as quick. And I was listening earlier about the Ricky Burns fight. I think somebody said that it's a pointless fight, but I don't think it is. I think it's maybe
it must happen. It's got to happen.
It's got to happen, because it's like somebody said. I think it was somebody said it was a passing the torch, but it's not just that. It's Ricky's been there and done it. He's world level. Like, he's fought the guys like Terence Crawford. He's fought Ray Beltran. He's fought he's fought top level operators in the sport, and Rocky Martinez down at super featherweight there. And this is a chance to really get Josh's name out there, because as soon as if he beats Ricky Burns, and Josh isn't just known around the UK, his name can spread throughout Europe. Even little bits in the US, people start talking about him, his name, just because of who he's beat. You know, it's a fight that should happen, but will it happen? No, I don't think so. I think the Crawler fight makes sense. It's on the Matchroom Sky platform. There'll be more money in it for the Crawler fight. And I spoke to Ricky last night. He thinks it might be a catch weight at 140, 138 or something like that. It won't be a lightweight. It won't be a lightweight, but I think it'll be a catch weight. Ricky was saying against Crawler, but we'll wait and see.
The good thing about last night, mate, as well was the fact it was on Channel 5. My dad watched the fight last. My dad's not got Sky Sports. He used to watch boxing way back when it was free on TV and that. So he was phoning me last night, texting me, you know, basically saying, this guy looks a good fighter, this Josh Taylor. And I'll need to kind of like keep an eye on him. I says, oh, there you go, you know, on actual terrestrial TV. But the other thing I was going to say to you, mate, you're talking about he's got power in both hands. This is a guy who's actually had a part of his bone shaved off his hip and surgically inserted into his hand. Because he actually had a hand problem. Is that right?
I had a hand problem before the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. But I tell you, like, I spotted Josh years and years, well, about 3 years ago when I was still thinking I was a boxer. I spotted him, right, and he hit me with a right hook on a head with a head guard on, and I swear it shook me right to my feet. I'd done the chicken dance, and Tenny McCormack, the coach at Loch End, stopped the whole spar because he hurt me that much. Just with a shot, it was the shortest right hand. I didn't see it coming. I just didn't. Like, it wasn't like, it didn't wind up anything. It just came from his, like, side of his cheek and snapped me my head back, and that was me nearly out the game with a head guard on with like 16-ounce gloves. I mean, the boy can bang. Like, he has a phenomenal talent. He's fit as a fiddle, despite what Spindo said. Like, I thought that the energy thing and the look tiredness, I think he spent a lot of that energy in the gym, in the changing room, because he did look anxious and nervous, and all that nervous energy built up. But like you said there, Andy, about the Channel 5 thing, I think that's brilliant with Channel 5. You're getting people who don't have, maybe in the older generation, they don't have the Sky Sports platform or BT or anything like that, but they get to watch fights, boxing like the good old days. Like my dad and my granddad. My granddad mucked about with Ken Buchanan doing Leith years and years ago. Like, and that's what he watched them on, not on the TV. But there was no pay-per-view back then. There was none of that shite, you know. But I'm just over the moon for Josh, man. Being a good friend of Josh, and I'm just delighted for the guy, and hopefully you can talk more about him in future episodes.
Yeah, we certainly will. Just before we let you go, Andy, brief word on the undercard.
Jason Easton. I'll tell you about the young boys coming through there. Jason Easton, he's
what a fight! What a fight that was!
Oh, he's a talented kid, man. Again, he's a fit lad, but he lost to Lewis Benson. I don't know if you know about Lewis Benson. I'm not like, well, wait, we've got up here. He lost to Lewis Benson 3 times in the Scottish finals. But his career's Lewis Benson's professional career so far is sort of like stagnant. Jason Easton's flying, man. The kid's fit as a fiddle. He's a nice lad. He lives in the gym again. Like, you hardly see him out drinking or that. He doesn't do any of that nonsense. He lives in the gym. There's a few things that he needs to work on, as you've seen from that fight last night. He gets clipped too much, but he can take a shot, man. The kid can take a shot. And I think, I said somebody mentioned about him fighting Ohara Davis. I think that would be a good fight. It might be a wee bit. The Scotsman in me wants Jason to win, but I think Ohara might just have that. Jason's got them flaws that he needs to iron out first before he takes a step up like that. You've got Aston Brown, who was in the GB squad with Josh Taylor. He's another middleweight that's coming through. He's only had 2 professional fights, but he is a talented fighter, skillful, got that slick sort of Josh Kelly sort of style of fighting. You've got the young boy Ali Black, who was on the floater last night, so a lot of people didn't get to see him fight. I don't know if you stayed, Andy. I doubt you stayed to watch Ali Black last night.
No, I had to put Tommy to his bed, mate. I had to take him home.
Ali Black, another talented young Scottish fighter coming through. It's just, I think about 5-10 years ago, Scotland never had any money up here for our fighters to go professional. And now we've got a small base now, and all our fighters are turning pro now. I think Britain is going to have more Scottish fighters involved, and more Scottish fighters as world champions. You know, because now we've got promoters taking a chance on our fighters, and all that. Ireland's always had that. Wales and England have always had them promoters around that area to help them out, but we've never had the management or the promoters or anything up here. So it's good for our fighters to get this shot, and hopefully more fights can stay in Scotland, Glasgow, and Edinburgh, and these young boys can come through and start making a name for themselves.
Andy, thanks very much for joining us. We appreciate you. Anytime you want to come on, jump on.
Cheers, mate.
No worries, Andy. Thanks for that, bud.
All the best, mate.
Hey, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Sure, Andy.
Okay, that was Andy 3 Figures McCart wiping his arse with tenors as we speak. Right, let's get on to the main man. Rob Kelly's on the line. Rob, you're going to go in deep in Ohara. What's happening? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I think these guys, I purposely avoided listening to anything that Ohara Davies has said up to maybe this week's Eiffel, right? Because I try not to pay attention to these guys, because I can see where he's going with this kind of imitating Browner persona and all this. Like, I heard his Eiffel during the week, and he was talking about wearing his Tom Ford shades. Well, I hope he's wearing them today, because he got his ass beat in the fight last night. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about Ohara, because I don't want to take away from Taylor's performance. Thought he fought the perfect fight, timed him, turned in the shots beautifully, just went to the body on him. I thought the only chance last week when we were talking about it was Ohara Davies having a puncher's chance. His style is awful, like, isn't it? It's absolutely awful. I don't know what he was doing last night. Like, I don't know. I mean, for him to fight a guy like Taylor with his amateur pedigree with that style, I think it's going to be effective. Like, what was he doing, like? You know, it was painful watching him, but Taylor fought the perfect fight. You know, the finish was unbelievable, but then he jacked it. Like, it looked like he was holding his eye, like he was trying to think of an excuse real quick, like, will I pull a Cal Brook on my eye socket? Hold on, I'll turn away. I mean, and then to hear him afterwards, like, and I know we don't get to hear him off camera, right? So we don't know what he's like. You know, he might be okay. He probably is an okay guy, but he's one of these fighters now that believes that you have to sell the fights and you have to be the bad guy and you have to, you know, pull off this money persona. But that only works if you're winning. You've seen how people turned on Broner immediately as soon as he got beaten. Like, that only works when you're winning, and you have to have a level of talent to pull it off. Now, the kid can bang a little bit, but everything was bad last night. His head movement, his feet, his jab, his what's his defense? Like, Taylor was able to hit him whenever he wanted to. So, you know, to hear him talk about in the Eiffel afterwards, it's entertainment and it's only entertainment. Yeah, the entertainment is for us. We get the entertainment out of watching the fighters. You got to get the fighting pad down first. So I think Eddie's ready to bin this guy. And, you know, I think, like, Eddie's looking at it now, like, if you're on Matchroom, you got to be able to fill pay-per-view dates because we have a lot of them to fill. We've got AJ, we got Bellew coming to the end of his one. You need to be able to step up, and he's cashing out on these guys. And he looked like Oscar the Grouch last night about to throw him in the bin. As soon as he got beaten, he was raised.
Rob, I meant, talking about O'Hara's personality, like you said, if you can't back that up with the ability to fight like Mayweather can, there's no point in doing it. I mentioned earlier a guy you might remember from London, Anthony Small, the humbly nicknamed Sugar Ray Clay Jones Jr. You think Davis might fall by the wayside like him?
Like
I think he's out of here. Like, at 140 world level, which is where they were trying to position him somewhere. You know, Eddie tried to get him a version of a mandatory, move him up into a mandatory position and try and, you know, grab the easiest version or whatever. But he doesn't belong there. Like, looking at him, like, he doesn't belong there. And no, I'm not. Again, don't want to take away credit from Taylor because he was brilliant. I wouldn't like to see Ricky Burns fighting him really right now. I think he knows in his heart he probably has Ricky's number right now, and Ricky's had a long career, been in a lot of tough fights, but I think he might have the edge on him, especially seeing as they've sparred and all that before Andy was saying. So, yeah, I think Davies could be gone. Who's he going to fight now? Where does he go? Who wants to see him now? You saw the way the whole and like this, the guy from The Only Way is Essex and all this. I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to market himself, like, but you gotta get the fight game down first. You know what I mean? Just you have to have that down first. Don't forget about Tom Ford shades. That don't matter in the ring, like, does it? So.
Steve, you do know Anthony Small changed his name to Mohammed something and got arrested and convicted of terrorism charges?
Yes, I did know that. Yeah, I was talking about him as a fighter. Yeah,
I prefer to talk about him as a terrorist. To be honest, I think it'd be more interesting.
Probably made more of an impact.
He should be hung for fucking treason.
Is Alan Partridge. Right, thanks for that, Rob. We're going to move on to the BoxNation card very shortly. Smido, don't mute yourself too quickly because I want your expert opinion on this final question from Ben Churchard. He said, a great performance from Josh Taylor, take nothing away from him, but are we going to mention the overly pro-Taylor commentary like we do on Sky? Did that annoy you, Smido?
To be honest, no. And that's normally the type of thing I notice. So, and I didn't notice it last night. So, no, the short answer to that is no. I mean, there's going to be a little bit of built-in bias. I mean, obviously they want him to win because he's a Channel 5 fighter currently, and Ohara Davies certainly isn't and would never have been in the future. But it's not something that I overly noticed. I could be open to be proved wrong if you've got me any quotes.
From my perspective, the commentary was simply pro Josh Taylor because he was schooling him and winning basically every second of the fight. I mean, that's what it sounded like to me. It's like, well, he's doing good work. He's dominating. He's bossing this kid.
Yeah, it reminds me actually, Hater Dave, of a little anecdote a few years ago. Whenever Paul McCluskey fought Amir Khan on primetime, a guy rang into Channel 5 afterwards and said, I was disgusted by your commentary tonight to Mike Costello. You know, you're all Khan this, Khan that, Khan the other. Never even mentioned McCluskey at all. And Costello was like, well, he didn't do anything. He barely landed a punch. That's why. So it's a similar sort of thing what you're saying.
You're on mute,
Smido. Right, can everybody hear me okay, Andy? Yeah?
Aye, fine, mate, on you go.
Right, I thought people were getting fed up with my stupid stories. Right, Ozzie Smith, let's get on to this BoxNation card now over in the copper box. Plenty of good scraps, a few in the ring as well. Gary Corcoran, beat Larry Ekondeo. I got that one wrong, Ozzy. I thought Ekondeo was going to win that one. Bradley Skeet went back to old tricks and stumped the joint out for most of the fight against Dale Evans. Richard Baragni was predictably shite against Anthony Yarde. Darryl Williams and Jermaine Smile will never be in a bad fight between each other. Arsenio Byfield, respect to him, great performance. A shame about the stuff in the crowd afterwards against 7-0 Sammy McNess. And Daniel Dubois knocked out a corpse called Mauricio Barragan. What stuck out to you, Ozzy?
The Williams Smile fight, like you said, was very enjoyable. I actually thought Smile had this one by a couple of rounds. I don't think I'm on my own when other people thought Smile had that. Sadly, I don't think we'll see it again. Williams has got his 2 up against him, so I don't think we'll see that. As you said, Baragni, what a waste of space he is. He was ranked 10 in the WBO light heavyweight rankings, 10. He was abysmal, and these manufactured records, I genuinely don't know how they can fight for these sort of. I mean, I know it's a friend.
And Ozzy, Bunsey tried to say he wasn't one of these guys with a manufactured record either.
Oh, what a lot of bollocks that is. It's like, he's meant like Sports Hall in Budapest or the Budapest Fight Club or something like that. I always notice these things when I think his best wins this George Bereshvili, and Martin Murray absolutely leathered him in about 2 rounds. So you think when he's winning by a round against a pudding like that, you think, yeah, he's not much caught. But it gets Anthony Yarde a top 10 ranking, which they can market him on that. He looks good, but I'd like to see him in with a legit test, not this 18-1 manufactured record. Bradley Skeet did what he had to do. I don't really think he got out of first gear. He just toyed with Dale Evans, and hopefully he'll vacate the belt now, and he keeps saying he's world class Bradley Skeet. So let's see him on the way. I hope he's matched well. I wouldn't mind seeing him in with someone like Chris Van Heerden. I think it's a decent step up. European belts held by Sam Eggington. I'm not really bothered about seeing that fight again because Skeet, I thought, was a worthy winner in that. Corker and Ekondeo, I thought Phil Edwards, the referee, lost control of that. I thought Corcoran's he used his head quite a lot. I thought he was quite rough and rowdy.
Yeah, he does. Do you remember the Liam Williams fight? That was a bit like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, he reminds me a bit of Jamie Cox sometimes. If it's not going his way or it's getting a bit rough, he just sticks a nut in. And obviously he got away with that. I thought in stages Ekondeo looked excellent, looked really, really good. And maybe he just suffered from a bit of inactivity. Dubois, again, his opponent, waste of time. He's not even a heavyweight. I think he was boxing at light heavy, I think 12 months ago, and he's obviously just piled on the pounds, eating a lot of burritos in Mexico. But it's a difficult one with him. He can't fight for any British titles because he's not old enough. So, and who do you put him in? Do you put him in with someone like Dave Allen? Is he ready for Dave Allen? Me personally, I think he'd beat him. I think he'd stop him.
But he fought for the WBC youth title, and Barragan, I think, was 29 or 30.
Yeah, it's nothing new. That it's an odd one. So basically, obviously, Dubois, had Barragan causing an upset, the belt would have remained vacant. I think it was like a last-minute call-up, wasn't he? Further down the line, there was obviously a couple of Franks, up-and-coming prospects. Ryan Garner, he's a talent. He's got an exciting style and one to look out for. But it was okay. It's a shame, obviously. This was the bill for Billy Joe Saunders and Kurt Sidze, but I thought it was a pretty decent card from Frank, all things considering, when your main event falls through for once, that he can't be blamed for.
Thanks for that, Ozzy. Andy, you've only seen the Yarde fight so far. Just a brief word on Dale Evans, who's from Wales, I believe, but he seemed to have a Scottish flag on his shorts.
Aye, mate. Everybody knows Dale Evans had that tragic fight with Mike Towell. It was a British final. It was a final British eliminator, and that was what I was fighting for last night. A few boys, Towell's friends and family, drove down or went down from Dundee to support Dale Evans there last night. So that'll be the reason why he's got the Scottish flag on there. Obviously, Towell's family's basically gave him a bit of support. Obviously, it's a tragic situation, but I was just thinking I'd throw that out there. So it was good to see the boys go down there and encourage him and try and basically get him over the line. But I didn't see the fight, but I'd read that Skeet was quite negative, so I probably will watch it at some point. But it's a bit of a shame for Dale Evans. Hopefully he comes again.
Yeah, I heard that story. I just wanted to clarify it with you. Obviously, Evans. Hopefully, we can get back to business after a tragic incident. Right, Smido. Let's get you in on this one then. First, start me off with Daniel Dubois. What can they do with him to get him a bit of a test at his age?
I don't know, because there's not much in Frank's stable that he could use. Clearly, he's still inexperienced from a professional point of view, but fucking hell, he's a big lump, innit? I thought his opponent last night, although he was obviously clearly limited at the wrong weight, etc., he lasted out the first round. I mean, virtually the first punch landed by Dubois put this kid down. He hit him with some vicious body shots in the first round, and you know, we've seen some of these imports quit for lesser than what that lad did last night. He made it to the second round and then folded thereafter. I'm a bit stumped, really, Steve, with the initial question. I wouldn't quite know what to do with him. Clearly, he's not learning a lot from these imports, but do they look for some sort of European journeyman rather than British? I don't know, maybe a Chisora a little bit further down the line, but is there enough money in it for Chisora? He's in a bit of a situation, Dubois, to be fair. Yard was pretty much as expected. A little anecdote. I saw a BT promotional video in the week where Yard was at the driving range with his mates, and the aforementioned James Argent was there as well, if that's how you say his name. So he's got an affiliation with Ohara Davis that has probably ended in the last 24 hours, and now, you know, will he be an unlucky friend for Yard as well? I don't know.
Yeah, I think, Smido, this character was actually ringside. Whenever Yard fought out in America, was it on the Liam Smith Canelo undercard? This Argent character was sitting ringside with him on an IFL video.
Brilliant. But no, I mean...
Who is that mutant?
God knows. Yard's one of them, though, that is, you know, because he's bulky and he's absolutely blowing away people at the moment, he could almost come unstuck, you feel, against a pretty much unknown but steady kind of European.
Yeah, you could see the stamina. Yeah. You could see him suddenly blowing out his arse after 4 rounds and going, well, we saw this coming. Yeah,
definitely. That Corcoran is a dirty bastard. He was going in forearm first, head first, elbow first. The referee should have been more, you know, should have really been stamping out on that. And I thought the other kid whose name I can't say, I thought he deserved to win. That Williams fight again was, you know, like you say, their styles will always mingle quite nicely. I didn't score it, but I thought it was close, and so it appeared. Skeet, now I know what he's trying to do with winning the British title outright. Terry Dooley last week made some very good points on the British title, and it's something that needs to be looked at. Do we go to 2 defences, or, you know, do we force the mandatories more stringently, etc., etc.? I know what Bradley Skeet's trying to do. It's only 5 or 6 weeks since his last successful defence. He's now won the title outright. But I just feel like Bradley Skeet has been at that level too long. He's been at that level too long. He's not the youngest fighter in the world. He has already got a loss, so all that he is protecting is the British title. He's won that. Now he needs to move on. Frank and Skeet have spoke about moving on, and they've even spoke about Jeff Horn. I think that's pie in the sky. But he definitely needs to move on, because Frankie Gavin, Sam Eggington, you know, decent fights, but everything that, you know, they're good domestic fighters. Dale Evans is a step down from them. Skeet is difficult. It would be difficult for anyone. I was watching it last night, and there's not many people really in and around his weight that would find it easy to fight him. He's over 6 foot and he's making 10 stone 7. He's almost a freak at the weight. But it's just the menace. He's not got the menace to, you know. Dale Evans last night, he could have just jabbed his head off, and then one in every 8 or 10 hit him, poked him with the right hand, and, you know, started blooding him up and got the stoppage. But he just don't go for it, and he is boring. Unfortunately, he is boring. So we need to see him stepping up soonish.
Can I just throw in there, by the way, Bradley Skeet still pays his commission to Dean Powell's wife.
Dean Powell,
top bloke.
Yeah, respect for that.
That's what I mean. We all like him, but there's a couple of things he needs to step up very soon, and he needs to stop putting his bloody foot on the gas and getting folks out of there, because when he moves up to European or fringe world level against people that can bang a lot more than the likes of Frankie Gavin and Dale Evans and the last what was the last kid's name?
Singleton.
Singleton, people who might be, you know, we might still have the advantages over it. Well, probably still will have the height and reach advantages over. But if they get lucky for one, you know, and hit him, then it could be night. So he needs to be putting his foot down and getting the job done early to negate the possibility of someone landing a lucky punch.
Cheers, Smid. Tommy, I had a question that I asked Rob Kelly a few weeks ago about football fans in boxing, and I've got one coming from Christopher Lomax for you. It's pretty prevalent after these crazy scenes we saw at Ringside after the Byfield-McNess fight, Tommy. Christopher says, in the light of the mass brawl that broke out after Sammy McNess lost, does the panel believe that a fighter shouldn't market himself so closely with a football club? Are they not alienating certain fans from other clubs, or do boxing fans back a fighter regardless of who he supports? Christopher can't see that many Man United fans would care about Josh Warrington, for example.
I think that the fighters they should be able to do what they want. But I think the onus is on the promoters basically to step up the security at events. Obviously, that happened to my dad in Glasgow. There was hardly any security there. It didn't look like there was much last night either. I've not actually watched the card yet. I've not seen the fight. I've just seen the YouTube clips with the crowd trouble. But I think the onus is definitely on the promoters to do more. I don't blame the fighters in any way at all for that.
And Tommy, we had a question in from MJ. He says, quite simply, Bradley Skeet, what's the point? Discuss. Is that a bit harsh?
It's a bit. Well, I'm not a big fan of Bradley Skeet either. His style, I'm not saying he's not a good fighter, because he's a good fighter, but I find him hard to watch. So, the guy's all right, my book. I said that.
Excellent. Rob, let's get you in. I'm not sure how much you saw of this. I know you don't watch much Frank Buglioni on a Saturday night, but would you extend yourself to BoxNation? Let me ask you this one, because I know that you're quite close with the Furies, or you're a fan of Huey anyway, Rob. Dan Grantham says, what do you think of Huey's exhibition fight last night? Is this a cover, says Dan, going into conspiracy theory, for him potentially still serving a drugs ban? What do you think, Rob? Rob?
You're on mute, mate.
Oh.
1,000,000% yes is the answer.
Oh, go on, Smith. Why is that then?
Well, I mean, you know, I just think the whole thing is it's just all smoke and mirrors. I think they've potentially both been serving drugs bans. I'm no expert on UCAD and all that, but I just think it's no coincidence that that, you know, he's turned up with a skin condition that they've had to go to 4 doctors for. Tyson Fury's had psychological problems. They've been massively inactive, fights cancelled, you know, foot injuries, partying in the World Cup or whatever it was. I just think it's no coincidence. They've both been serving drugs bans, and I'm not buying anything of the sort that Tyson Fury has got mental health issues. I'm sorry. I'm just not, you know, I could be very much wrong. I'm going to stir the pot. You know, it's a hot topic at the moment, a bit of a voodoo issue. I just don't believe it.
A bit of a voodoo issue. Right.
But it is. But I mean, exhibition fights, though, right? We don't need them. You know, in this day and age, we've seen Liam Smith fight basically behind closed doors in order to get into a fight with Williams for the interim title or whatever it was. You know, with the corruption nowadays that we've got in boxing and the shit fights that we have to put up with, no one needs an exhibition. They could have made that happen last night if they wanted to.
Right, Smitho has spoken. Don't forget, there's quite a few fights coming up next week, including Eubank. I think there's a couple over in America. Robert Guerrero's on as well, so we're going to be getting to those very shortly. Plus,
great.
We've got, don't worry, Andy, we've got loads of Bellew of the Weeks coming up at the end as well, and a little twist on Bellew of the Week, a little change. Plus, we're going to be talking about this World Super Series. The draws have taken place for the super middleweight and the cruiserweight. I know you're excited about that, so we'll also get onto that as well, and hopefully get out at a decent time. Just before we move on to the previews for next week, which we're going to be doing next, just want to mention something that came to my attention. Down in the Walsall Town Hall on Friday night, Sam Bowen, who is 10-0, knocked out Lorenzo Parra in the first round of a 6-rounder. This is quite a sad story, actually, from as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, Parra, a former WBA flyweight champion, who once had a claim in 2005 of being Ring Magazine Fighter of the Year. I think he only missed out very narrowly to somebody else, I can't remember. He won twice in Japan, defending his title that year, and then he travelled over to France to beat a 19-0 local French guy on his own turf to defend the title. So 3 great wins that year. And Para has slipped to such a level that he's now getting knocked out in 1 round in Walsall Town Hall on a Friday night by Sam Bowen. Nobody probably cares about this, but I thought that was indicative of the sad sport that boxing can sometimes become. Right, hopefully I haven't depressed everybody too much. Who've we got? Hater Dave, are you still with us?
Yep.
Right, Hater, let's get stuck into this over in New York next week in the Nassau Coliseum. We have Omar Figueroa Jr. returning to the ring. I think he likes a bit of a drop of the old juice outside of the ring. He's fighting against Robert Guerrero in a 10-rounder. Arthur Spilka also returns against the unbeaten Adam Kovnaski, which could be quite interesting. And a fight that I'm looking forward to, Marcus Brown, I believe, will beat the living shit out of Shawnee Monaghan. What's exciting you about this card, Dave?
No significantly impressive fights. I've never heard of that Kovnaski guy. If he's any good, he should beat Spilka, because Spilka's not got a great chin and not got great defense. He's very much a stepping stone. I don't really like this Guerrero Omar Figueroa fight. I think Guerrero should win if he's got anything left. Figueroa, he's not really very much of a boxer. He's very come forward and swinging away. I don't dislike the guy. I know a lot of people hate him because he's gotten some breaks on the cards. I mean, it's not his fault that he sucks or that the judges favor his style. I did think he beat Ricky Burns in a close fight. Yeah, but I expect Guerrero to probably win like at least 8-4 here. Isn't he moving up a lot in weight? I mean, I guess they both have moved up a lot in weight, but Figueroa, he was last seen at 140, right?
Figueroa, he fought. Was he the one who beat Ricky Burns? That would have been down.
Yeah,
down the weights, wouldn't it? Yeah, he beat DeMarco as well, I think, in his last fight.
He is shit, Figueroa.
He is not very good. He's got a chin. He's got heart, and he's got a gas tank, I guess. So it should be somewhat entertaining. But I mean, it's such a meaningless fight to me. I guess it's just like sort of Friday night entertainment, but it's not gonna mean anything who wins. I mean, Guerrero's still done, even if he beats Figueroa. And Figueroa, while he may not be like that old in ring years, I don't think he's going anywhere. I mean, he's not. It's not like he's going to evolve into this great pressure swarming fighter.
I don't think he lives the life outside the ring, Dave. That's what I was alluding to at the beginning.
There's another problem.
Drink or something.
Yeah, he could get stopped. I mean, he's been kind of inactive. He's keeps moving up in weight too quickly, mainly because he just is laziness. I think he might be stopped here, but I think it's more likely Guerrero just wins a convincing decision.
Anybody else want to comment on this card?
What card was that?
Yeah,
again?
I had a...
This was Smido. Let's just get Smido in, Andy. This was the one that has just clicked off it now. Omar Figueroa against Robert Guerrero, Marcus Brown against Monaghan, Spilka against Kovnaski. Go ahead, Smido.
Yeah, I had Figueroa on my list as to oppose regardless of who he fought. But unfortunately, he's fighting Robert Guerrero, who has been equally as Dave alluded to, has moved up in equal number of unnecessary weights, has been equally inactive, and is equally irrelevant. So my strategy to just bet against Figueroa will probably have to take a check for this one. But yeah, that was it really, and I agree with Dave. The outcome has no bearing on the sport of boxing at all.
Anything that interests you, Andy? Marcus Brown against Shawnee Monaghan. I don't rate Monaghan. I think he's an accident waiting to happen, and he sells big on the tickets. Brown looked good in his last fight. I think he was knocking out Thomas Williams Jr.
I'm trying to remember, mate. I think the American card, I'm really looking forward to this fight. I mean, fuck that card. I mean, Spilka against Adam Kovnaski. Actually, I've never heard of that guy. Guerrero's just a CrossFit freak now, isn't he? And Figueroa, I've never rated that cunt. Never rated him. He's over fucking rated. I don't know how he actually even keeps getting these top slots and stuff. He's a dirty bastard. He lost to Ricky Burns. He cuts like a haemophilia. That fucking fight against Jerry Belmontes, by the way. See if Belmontes just fucking kept the pressure up on that fight, he would have beat him. He is absolutely awful. He is awful. The card I'm looking forward to, I don't know if it's that on HBO next week, the one that's got Takahashi Miura against Berchelt. That is violence.
Yeah, we're coming to that next, yeah.
That's the one I'm looking forward to. That's violence personified, that fight.
Tommy, do you want to say anything briefly about the card I was just referring to before we move on to that?
No, I was just, when Andy was talking there, I was actually going to bring up the Belmonte's fight, but Andy obviously mentioned it. That's just what I was going to say there.
Well, here, Tommy, do you want to say anything about this HBO card? Jezreel Corrales against Robinson Castellanos. Joe Smith Jr., Sullivan Barrera. Really looking forward to that one.
I'm looking forward to it. I like Joe Smith.
Miura,
I like that fight. I like Joe Smith, though. I've Ken, his whole stories. I like his whole story, you know, what he's done in that so far. So I've been keeping a close eye on him. Big puncher as well. I'll definitely be checking that out next week. Yep.
Andy, Castellanos last seen beating Yuriorkis Gamboa, who we know is pretty hit and miss now. His fight with Corrales should be pretty interesting. What are you looking forward to most on this card?
Obviously, the main event, mate, Berchelt against Miura. That just cannot fail to deliver that fight. Corrales, as everybody knows, as I said it after he beat Uchiyama the first time. I think he fought the first time, actually knocked him out pretty early. I'm not saying he is a resemblance. He's just, his style slightly, just ever so slightly reminds me of Rigondo. He's got that kind of similar stance, and he seems to carry a bit of power in that. Castellanos, he's been around a while, isn't he? He's been with the kind of, you know, he's been running about the block. He's been with a few guys, Caballero, Estrella, Gonzalez. I think another guy in there, I think it might be Alvarado, his name is, or something, but you know, he's taken his defeats, but he always seems to keep coming again and stuff. But I'm not really going to look too much into that Gamboa fight. Gamboa, we know, shouldn't he? He's, you know, his career's done, finished. To be honest, this is probably the last chance for Castellanos to pick up another version of world title. I can't remember if he actually won one in the past before. I think he's had a few challenges at one anyway, I think. But I think this will be his last chance. He's 35 now. He's going to take this chance. But I think Corrales is just a slightly fresher fighter. Could have a wee bit. You know, I think his record's a wee bit deceiving about his power. Actually, I think he's actually got sneaky power there. So I suspect he'll probably win it on points. Actually, Corrales. So I'm looking forward to Corrales Castellanos, but I think that main event is going to be absolute warfare. Going to be blood and guts, and there'll be no quick jobs in that fight. I can guarantee you that.
Certainly won't be. Ozzie Smith, anything from the two American cards? It looks like the HBO card is the standout.
Yeah, I'll be taking them. I'll probably watch them the highlights more. So I don't think I'll be staying up and watching those. But yeah, I agree with Andy. One sec, sorry. The Berchelt fight is going to be outstanding. So I think is that on BoxNation now, like 4 a.m. or something. I think he said it.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah,
it can't fail to deliver. Just cannot fail to deliver.
Smido, anything from the American side? You're going to be staying up for any of this action?
Yeah, I'll be setting my alarm for the Berchelt. He really announced himself in the last fight. I forgot the kid's name. But he was the underdog, and I think he's just gonna bust Maura's face in.
Was that the Vargas fight, Smith?
Yeah, Vargas. Yeah, which was an excellent fight in itself. I just think he's gonna bust the Japanese bloke's face up, to be honest. And I can never say his name properly. Moira.
Takashi Miura.
Miura. Yeah, I just think he's gonna bust him up. I think Beltrant's probably the more rounded boxer. If you can describe someone from Mexico as that, I think he's more rounded than Miura. I forgot his name already. But yeah, great fight, and I'll be setting the alarm.
Rob Kelly, you back with us? You there, Rob?
I think Rob's still at the back with his mate on that reefer.
Seem to have lost Rob. Final word to you, hey, today of this HBO card?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Good stuff. We're actually getting teased with a lot of good stuff coming up.
Put the gun away, Dave.
It's not a gun. We got this excellent card. The Cruiserweight tournament. We just got the draws for that yesterday. Should be some excellent fights coming up there. And even the 168 tournament that they're doing again, it looks good. Not all big names in it, but I mean, I like these tournament setups where the guys are mandated to fight each other, and there's some sort of structure to it. I think Berchelt will win as well. He's slower, significantly slower. He's going to be open. I think he has good timing, possibly better timing than Burchell, but I think the speed's going to be too much for him. I think he's going to be eating a lot of combinations.
Okay, Dave, we'll move on. The final big card of next weekend is over in Wembley Arena. Looking forward to this one. It seems like Richard Poxon has put on a good show, and he's going the sort of HBO route. They're having all the big fights. There's no these sort of undercard fights have been announced on BoxRec anyway, at least, the sort of 4-rounders, 6-rounders, straight in with 5 big fights. And I am going to be looking forward to this one. Andy, we'll get everybody's opinion. Let's go to you first. Chris Eubank Jr. against Arthur Abraham. Looking forward to that one. Lee Selby against Jonathan Victor Barros, which was obviously a fight that was postponed from the Frampton Santa Cruz undercard. Robbie Davis Jr. is fighting Michal Sirovatka. Could have an aesthetically pleasing record. He's 18-1. Don't know what to expect from him. Kid Galahad was supposed to fight Dennis Celan. He was pulled out with cocaine issues, and now Kid Galahad, ironically, drugs cheat himself, has Jose Cayetano. And then Martin Joseph Ward fights Anthony Kakachi. 5 fights that will get you up for it next Saturday, Andy.
A couple of good fights here.
Come on, that's a good card, man. It is. We have to admit.
No, I'd be serious. I'm actually want to see the Selby fight because I really want to see. Is he still making weight safely? And Barrios, okay, he's seen better days, but that's still a tough fight, especially if you're going to be still struggling to make weight. Later on in that fight, I mean, that guy went to Japan his last fight and won. I did think he won a wee bit clearly, actually, and they gave it a split decision, which is a load of pish, actually. But, since the Garcia defeat, actually, he's kind of like steadily brought it back up. He's kind of, fought in Argentina, and then he's now got his, I think that might be an IBF eliminator. So he's got his world title shot. Last chance saloon again for this guy. I think I'm really looking forward to this one. Eubank, me and Tommy were talking about the Eubank fight last night, actually. Tommy might think that we might get a stoppage through mercy just because Abraham's not active enough. I don't think he's actually... We've never seen this power of his at super middleweight. We never have, apart from the Stieglitz 4 fight when he really kind of scrambled him a wee bit. But Abraham is... I don't think he can pull the trigger anymore. And one thing we saw with Eubank against Irish guy... What's his name? Spike. Spike fucking hurt him with that right hand. I'm telling you, if you go back and watch that fight, you'll see his fucking back leg just give away a wee bit. So if Abraham can maybe get that shot off, he might just test him. But I think Eubank is going to win it pretty wide. If we do get a stoppage, it's going to be probably like on a swollen eye or whatever. Robbie Davis, obviously, there's a lot of kind of talk about this kid as well. I don't know much about his opponent, actually, in all honesty, but I know he beat that guy that Jason Easton beat in his last fight. I think he beat him in 9 rounds or something. So I think I'm right in saying that anyway. But other than that, I'm not really giving a shit about Kid Galahad. I think it just speaks volumes. As you say, mate, he's welcome back to sport. He is a drugs cheat and stuff. And Martin J. Ward, in the past, has he not fought on Eddie Hearn cards before in the past? He's never really kind of impressed me. Yeah,
they've sent him over because Eddie doesn't do purse bids, does he?
It's all about profit margins.
Pat McGee won the purse bid for this because he's Kakachi's manager.
I see. It's all about profit margins for Eddie, He can't be fucking fucking out his own pocket. He's got to have Sky to pay it for him and stuff. But I suppose that might be a decent fight. I know it's a British and Commonwealth title fight and that, so I ain't paying for it though. That's one thing I ain't doing. I ain't paying for it. This fight, these fights should be on terrestrial television. I think it proved there last night. And, I got to say, just off topic actually, fair play to Cyclone there last night. They worked with other managers to get that card filled up, and fair play to them because, as I say, the main event and especially the Chief support was absolutely amazing. So if they get a wee bit more fights like that on terrestrial television, that it can only take off and more will get involved. But
don't ratings for fights on terrestrial TV in the UK and in the US, they generally kill. I mean, they're generally excellent ratings. Millions get to watch it.
Well, Tommy and I were talking about that last night with Jake McGuigan. We're saying the Tyson Fury Chisora fight, that did something. Was it 3-4 million viewers on Channel 5 and that?
Yeah.
So you got to think. I'm not going to guess, but I think it would have done pretty well there last night. I think it would have done at least a couple of million, hopefully.
Hopefully so. Smido, Andy mentioned the pay-per-view there. Eubanks eased it in with a tenner. They're going up to £17 now. You're going to be digging into the pockets for this 5-fight attraction?
Absolutely not. I prefer the card, though. The setup of the card is 4 or 5 proper fights rather than 3 Olympians, a woman, someone on the comeback trail, a fat bloke from Sheffield, etc. So I prefer that setup, and I think that I posed a question earlier in the week, maybe Thursday or Friday, saying that card, the Eubank card on Saturday night, on paper is better than anything we've seen on regular Sky for some time. Obviously, I know that you're being asked to spend 17 quid on this one, but you know, the pay-per-view and the price of is virtually an irrelevance to us lot on here, because none of us will be paying, and we'll all be correct in making that decision. It's a disgrace to pay the pay-per-view, but we could be here all night. On the main event, I think that Abraham is obviously past his best and at the wrong weight, but you could argue that Eubank is possibly at the wrong weight, although obviously he's a lot younger and could grow into it. So we certainly, I don't think we're going to see a massive Eubank against a small Abraham. I don't think we're going to see that. I think Abraham's style does offer himself to a British stoppage. You can just see it rounds 7 or 8. Eubank throwing uppercuts,
great
rocking the head back, a bit of blood, and next thing you know, the ref's stepping in, and then Abraham pulling the face as if to say, and his hands out as if to say, "What have you done that for?" I mean, we can almost visualize that now. Abraham's got pretty much no threat, to be honest. And I do agree with Andy that Spike did hurt Eubank, but I think at this time in his life, Spike can probably hit harder and faster than Arthur Abraham, to be fair. So yeah, I just don't think Abraham can do much more. I think it is good that they've entered this tournament, whatever they're calling it, boxing series or whatever. But I mentioned to you guys in the chat in the week, I cannot see Chris Eubank Jr. completing this tournament or agreement. I just can't.
Spot on.
What is the point in them entering? Like they've been offered the fight that they wanted on they had the date, the venue, etc. They've walked away from that. They've walked away from Billy Joe. Frank's offered them a lot of money for that. Potentially, they fell out with Groves or DeGale, or if that's true or not. I just can't see them completing this process. They might have one fight, and then we'll be back to getting someone from Australia or Argentina. Anyway, at least they're showing intent. Maybe the Sauerlands, who seem to be running the show, is a breath of fresh air and someone that the Eubanks can get on with, because they've got no personal history. That Senior's obviously got personal history with the Hearns and the Warrens. So I don't know, maybe the Sauerlands, but even I know it's at a low level and it's an unlikely level, given that Groves is meant to fight Cox in the first fight. But it could feasibly happen where Eubank comes up against Cox, and that's the old Eddie Hearn argument over again. It's interesting.
Can I ask a question about? Does anybody know what happened? Has the semi-finals already been decided, or is that another pick? The fighters pick who they get in the semis and stuff.
I would think.
That's a good
I don't
question,
know.
actually.
I don't know the answer. I would think
decided.
the bracket's already decided. I would think.
They've been decided.
Yeah.
Groves meets the winner of Eubank, Abraham, or Yildirim.
Right. What about the cruiserweights, mate? I'm not really that down yet with the super middleweight one, but
no, I'm not.
Just watching Groves smash Jamie Cox just to hand her another L, man, that would be absolutely wank material.
Yeah, I think George Groves will wipe the floor with Jamie Cox. I think we could see another quit job.
Yep, massive.
Or a disqualification. Because I think Groves will. He's seen everything that Jamie Cox can offer. So, and I don't see what Jamie Cox can do. I'm not a believer that Groves is shot to bits like some people like to pass off, or he's chinny. I think he can take a shot, and I think it'll be another L for young Edward.
Ozzy. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Just a slight comment. I was just feeling that if anybody deserves to feel that George Groves power, it's Cox. Jamie punches Cox.
Here, Dave, while you're unmuted, tell me about this card that we'll see whether Eubank or Abraham gets into this Super Series. You don't like the Euro bums, but there's 5 decent scraps. You might even get rock hard for this.
Brant's going to win. Brant's going to take it all. The Yank will show the Euro bums how it's done. and we'll have a new star on our hands. It'll be like the birth of Andre Ward all over again.
Ooh.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Right, Ozzy, back to this Wembley card.
Sorry, can I just weigh in here by
Go on.
Michael Benson just tweeted out there saying that the Callum Smith fight against Scotland is taking place in Liverpool.
In September.
Eddie Hearn's fucking worked that pretty well. They've hung on right to the death, man, so they could fucking get them to come begging to get Smith into that fucking tournament. I'm fucking logging that right now.
Right, we're going to come to this next. Let me finish Eubank first. Ozzy, tell me about Eubank Abraham and the fights on the undercard. This is right up your street, isn't it, these northern shows?
Yeah, I like taking interest in him. I think Eubank will stop him, not through just through like overwhelming of punches. What one thing he is, Eubank, he's a fit lad, and the volume of punches he can put out is very good. I still don't think he's a super middleweight, and like Adam mentioned, then when he gets into this tournament, I can just see him withdrawing because the terms aren't on his level or something like that. And Abraham's man-made for him. What we've got to look at is, as much as we don't like him, Paul Smith gave Arthur Abraham a very close fight. Now, that was, what, two and a half years ago? This should be bread and butter for Chris Eubank Jr. And I think he's probably getting some decent money, Abraham, and this will be the last we'll see of him. I think Kakachi will beat Martin Ward. Not sold on him. I think Hearn will win a purse bid if he thinks you're the goods. He's got some talent, Ward, but this Kakachi's apparently he's rated quite highly, and I do think he'll beat him.
Yeah, he's good.
Bit disappointed with Robbie Davis Jr.'s opponent. The hype up in the Northwest is very high on Robbie Davis, and his promoter manager Neil Marsh has stated that he puts offers out to people and he's difficult to match. Now, there's obviously a bit of money flying around, so don't bring over a Polish lad who's obviously got a Richard Baranya record, and I won't be shocked if Davis blasts him out inside 3. Don't care about Kid Galahad. He's a drug cheat, and like I say, it's ironic that his opponent has been busted for cocaine. I have no interest in that.
Him and Selan could have had some party afterwards if they let that fight go ahead.
Yeah, I know, yeah. It would have been, they'd have all been nipping out in the pisses, wouldn't they? Just taking a line and then going back out. Is that it? I can't remember is there any other fights that I've...
There seems to be one, but I can't quite... Oh, yeah, Lee Selby.
Oh, right, yeah. It'd be interesting to see how well Selby makes the weight. I won't be shocked if Selby wins, then we see the Warrington fight made. I know Frank's trying to tee something up for early next year for Warrington in terms of a world title fight, and I think that could be Selby's biggest payday. He's not attached to anybody now, and Frank's obviously got a bit more cash floating around, and with them introducing pay-per-view, it makes sense from Frank's side to possibly put this on pay-per-view and build a decent card in Leeds, possibly at Ellen Road. And by the way, I won't be paying for it either. It's a great card, but it shouldn't be £17. It should be free to air. And like you said, you get millions of viewers on ITV, even on, for example, even on ITV2 or something like that. People will turn over to watch it because you can still advertise it on ITV. Just put it on ITV2. You'll get more people watching it rather than paying 17 quid for the main event, what the bulk of people will buy it for.
We got told last night that apparently the last fight they had on against Quinlan did about 30,000 buys, and they had to refund some of the money because the streaming system that they had online actually didn't work, so they had to fucking refund that money.
It messed up, and people bought it, and then when they tried to get onto the pay-per-view channel on ITV, it didn't work. Or they had to buy it 6 times and then get refunded. I don't see what the incentive is to pay an extra 7 quid for this. Arthur Abraham is well known to a lot of people, but you've got to think the target in the casual market, and people won't care about it, especially for 17 quid as well. It's not cheap. Put it on free to air and build him up, and then if he does a job on it, then you can look at a bigger fight. But my only concern is, sorry to chop and change, but say Eubank wins and then it's Yildirim, are they going to put that on pay-per-view? Realistically, nobody knows who Yildirim is. So it's like
I can see that ending up back on Sky, you know, because the Sauerlands have got a route in. Because
no chance. Sky haven't got the dates for it.
No, I think BT will pick it up.
I don't think BT will pick it either. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes terrestrial, or maybe even like sort of Premier Sports pick it up as well.
Well, BoxNation can put it on whenever they want, can't they? It's Frank's own channel; he can put whatever he wants. So
yeah, I suppose.
Ozzy's right, and I raised a similar point previously before he felt that Aussie lad. You know, you should be putting this on free to air, like Channel 5 do. You don't need all the undercard on. You just 10 o'clock, 1 hour, ITV, and then when he does fight someone with a name, a Groves, a De Gea, or Saunders, whatever, then you can try the pay-per-view route. We won't pay it, but the people watching ITV might.
Yep, moving on. I call this a Northern card. Of course, it's in Wembley. It was just the fact with Bobby Davis Jr., Richard Pox, and all these Northern connections. Hopefully, nobody will hang me out to dry for that. Rob Kelly, hopefully you're back with us. We're talking about Arthur Abraham against Chris Eubank on the undercard on ITV. You're a big pay-per-view man, Rob. You've got this ordered already, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. No. The only way I'd look at it, Arthur Abraham in a pay-per-view is if he was fighting Robert Stieglitz and Felix Sturm in a fucking ladder match or something. It's who wants to see Abraham on pay-per-view? Like, we know who Chris Eubank's fans are. Like, the Anthony Joshua fans who've expanded their knowledge a little bit, right? And the fight fans don't want to see Chris Eubank. And, like, Arthur Abraham may be spent. But Chris Eubank, we've never seen him. We've only ever seen him against one live body, right? He hasn't even fought an A-level middleweight, let alone an A-level super middleweight. So, like, I'd be hugely surprised, like the rest of the panel, if he finishes this tournament. He's definitely not going to come through with undefeated anyway. And I think against his fundamentals, people like these training videos look great, and he's hitting this bag and he's punching, and his trainer's talking in it. What's his trainer's name again? The Ronnie
Davis.
Yeah, but I know he's probably going to get it in value of the week. Did anyone see his training video where Ronnie Davis said he's like Sugar Ray Robinson? Close thing you see to Sugar Ray Robinson.
No, I don't.
Someone nominated it, I think, Rob. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think it's only a matter of time before he gets his clock cleaned if they actually put him in with a decent opponent. Abraham might be there in the later rounds, but I'd expect him to do the job on him if he is what they say he is. But I really don't think he is what they say he is. So I wouldn't be surprised if Abraham makes it difficult for him for a period. You know, he looks great. He's one of these guys who looks great beating up B and C level fighters. But I think when he's up against someone decent, he doesn't know what to do, and he hasn't got a great ring IQ either. So I'm looking forward to the wheels coming off that, even though it's not going to happen in his next fight. But I'll be there when it does.
Yes, we'll all be there, Rob, whenever the wheels inevitably come off. Who have we got? Tommy the Guru Allen. He's struggling over there in Scotland. Tommy, what about this Eubank fight? This Eubank card, in fact.
Destination fucked.
Well, the old man put the first pay-per-view done on ITV, and as Ozzy was talking about, the stream is completely useless, man. So we won't be investing in this one. But I quite fancy Eubank to stop him as well with an accumulation of shots. I think Abraham's ripe, easier for the taking. Dave said he's not a middleweight. I agree with that. His best was at middleweight. I've never really been impressed with him at super middleweight. I think the volume of punches, like I think it was Ozzy was saying as well, I think it's just got to be too much, and we're probably see a full stoppage around the 9th or the 10th round. Excited to see him in this boxing series. I think he's a good fighter, but I'm not sure he'll hang in it the other one either. Some will happen. There's too much bullshit surrounding that whole team for it to run smoothly. A fight in October, January and May. I think they're talking about the dates, aren't they? So I think Mr. Eubank he'll pull out that at some point. I like him in this Abraham fight. I think he's a perfect opponent for him, perfect name in that for him, but I'm not too confident about this series.
Tommy's not too confident, right? It wouldn't be the same without the voice of boxing. Is on the phone now. We've got Big Russ. Russ, I was trying to come up with a good introduction for you. I couldn't manage it. What's happening?
Go on, Russ.
You okay, Russ? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to take a deep breath before I explode.
Right, come on then, Russ. Hit us, man.
First things first. Point one, Arthur Davis. I give respect to taking the fight. He's a fucking zoomer. Number two, he said he sold 7 tickets. him under the bus like he did Kell Brook. Number 3 is Tony Sims overrated. Fighters at his gym, does he fuck, and he's overrated. Number 4, I gave Ohara a slight share around 4. I hope Brian King's not watching because it sends him fucking madness, doesn't it? Other than that, he got his shit pushed in, and I hope Josh Taylor wore a condom when he did it.
Not too happy then, Russ?
Josh Taylor's well drilled, right? He's got a tough chin, good engine, he's got power, he goes to his body, and he's a dirty bastard, and I'm a massive fan of his. But I'm a bigger fan of that Eastern kid as well. I think he's going to do really good. Number 5, Ohara quit. It's as simple as that. No mass. KO win. Derry made you opinion. Derry were fucking shot to bits when he fought Tommy Coyle, wasn't he? What's Derry? For 50-odd fights, age 34. He's a fucking old man. He's going to be known as a guy who fucking stopped Derry Matthews. Fuck's sake. What were people thinking? Fucking fucking muppet. All them fucking stupid Essex pricks. Fucking crazy! Number 6. Where's Ohara Davies go now? He's a new trainer and he needs to get rid of that tally fucking load of shite hangers on. What do you reckon to them 6 so far? We've got 4 left.
Yeah, this is good, Russ. Keep it pumping.
Right, number 7. I signed Robin Reed this week. I don't know why, like, I'm getting pissed up, can't we? But if we fucking can do Ben Collins, I'm sure we can do Robin Reed, Calzaghe, can't we? Or okay.
He's fucking short, man.
Tyson Fury, I saw him spar this week. He looks good actually for a big lad. He's still funny. Number 9, Tesco Joe's fucking failures. Here we go. Crawler, Free Smiths, Beef Smigger Swifty, Quig, fucking Jose Burton, Morrison, Cardo. All he's got left is Jonas and Krusty Neck. He's fucking ruined all of them. So he's a fucking mess. He shouldn't even be on fucking TV thinking he's Blues brother. Did you see him, man? I mean, a fucking son. You're going John Murray. I'm Joe Murray. He's a fucking prick. He didn't do any good with fucking Martin Murray or Macklin. Where am I now? I'm the fucking what?
10.
Where I oh, fucking Bellew. What's he fucking on about? Tony Bellew. Fucking jeez, have you seen him? He don't want to fight at Goodison Park because there is no fighting home and that. They have to put fucking ring into corner at ring. Listen, let me tell you this, right? I spoke to Gary Shaw over there and he said Andre Ward ain't coming to England unless he gets $6 million. So there's a Ward fight, fucking pony, innit? They've tried to hijack the Parker fight, I heard this as well. Eddie's fucking sneaky cunt, but he's going to fight Huey. So that leaves who for Bellew? He needs to stop fucking messing about and fight David Haynes. David Haynes just sat cool. He knows Bellew's got nowhere to go, doesn't he?
Yeah.
What do you reckon? I'm a agent.
I'm liking it, Russ. I'm liking all this. What about Neil Marsh? Russ, what about Neil Marsh, Russ?
He's not back $990,000 to beat Dirrell. That's what he gets because it's 60-40 split. That's $10,000 off $1 million. To fight in a stupid tournament where they get to cherry pick a fight. He's fighting Scotland. So he's not to win his belt back to fight Scotland. He's fighting fucking what's he called? Bellew puts the WBC belt back to fight for no belt, and now he's not even in the tournament. They're all fucking frauds, all of them, man.
Russ, what about Neil Marsh? Is it happening? You against him?
I fucking punch his head in any time a week if he wants to fight me, Neil Marsh. Don't bother me. What's the worst thing that could happen? I get knocked out. Nah, I'm actually alright with him, actually. I wasn't, though. Fucking hell. Don't fucking knackers, innit? Boxing, innit? People fall out, they kiss the neck up, they fall out. I'm opinionated, aren't I? But anybody wants to have a pop at me, they know where I live.
Well, Russ, what about BoxNation last night? Anthony Yarde looked good, but his opponent was shit, wasn't he?
Where did they dig that guy up? Wheel drag number 10, fucking hell. Did they go and get a fucking grave digger to dig him up? Fucking Jesus, man. How can he be well ranked after 12 fights like that? It's fucking craziness, isn't it? He ain't even got a British title. Fucking what? WBO European. What next? A WBO British?
Russ, let me bring in one of our American contributors. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, I was just going to say, you think that takes him one step closer to his meeting with Andre Ward?
Gary Shaw says that Andre Ward wants $6 million to come, and Bellew says he's worth staying. So I don't know. They're going to make a WBC belt for them, apparently, but Bellew's not the biggest draw in British boxing after Joshua. Fucking hell. He couldn't even sell Goodison mate?
Russ, I noticed that Clinton Woods has got a book coming out.
Yeah, he has, yeah. Should be a good book, shouldn't it?
Are you in it? Are you in it, yeah? I'm going to look for your name in the index.
Hey?
I'm going to look for you.
Name,
Yeah.
I'll probably get one fucking mention.
Well,
Russ, how was it with the...
Anything else, Russ? Anything else?
Josh Taylor beating me because I said, this will be food and drink to Josh Taylor. And he agreed with me, but nobody else were. They were all, you've got all them Towie Essex people, they've got millions of followers, haven't they, all of them? They're all tweeting about it and they've picked him up, haven't they? They've gassed him up and he believed his own eye. He didn't even have any fitness, did he? I couldn't believe what I was seeing, mate. He sold 7 tickets, so obviously they got rid of him, didn't they? Eddie was strolling about there thinking...
Oh. The feds have cut Russ off, man.
Eddie doesn't go to shows when Frank Warren puts his fights on, like Skeet against Eggington. Eddie never went to that. He sent his dad, didn't he? But he was strolling about up there last night on that Channel 5 thinking he was fucking cheap. I was loving it when they were shouting Eddie Hearn's a wanker. I was fucking loving that, mate.
Oh, that was it. No, Russ, that was bang out of order. Them guys doing that, them wankers, man. That was bang out of order.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. Them guys singing at Eddie Hearn.
Did you happen to hear them? Somebody yelled.
Like I said, they gassed that kid up, and to be honest with you, he was a journeyman, wasn't he? All that hype surrounding him, and I had people coming up to me in the street saying it'd be a one-round blowout. I said, are you out of your fucking mind?
Russ, let's get Dave back in. Hold on, Russ. Hold on. Go ahead, Dave.
Did it please you to hear those guys rant in the middle of yelling at Eddie Hearn? Somebody screams out, "Fuck StubHub!"
StubHub getting it, Russ?
StubHub are fucking atrocious, aren't they? StubHub. They need it, don't they? Well, listen, mate. They need to get rid of that StubHub because it's ripping fans off, innit? No StubHub, no pay-per-view. Channel 5, fucking Team McGuigan.
Brilliant stuff, Russ. We'll get you on next week, okay? Cheers.
Cheers, Russ. Cheers, pal.
Thanks.
Steve, I've made it clear before, but Russ is my favourite contributor to the Asylum ever.
I just had to hear him say, "StubHub! StubHub!"
He gets some sticks me there, man. They hate him on the YouTube.
No, I love him. I think he's superb.
Right, a couple more things, then we're going. Bellew of the Weeks is coming up shortly. Before that, I'm going to let everybody have a chance to discuss this World Series tournament. And at the moment, we'll get him back in a minute. George Groves against Jamie Cox. We've got Callum Smith against Eric Skoglund. We expect it will be Eubank Jr. against Avni Yildirim. And we've got Jürgen Bremer against Rob Brandt. Then I'll read out the cruiserweights as well, Smido. We've got Alexander Usyk against Marco Huck, Christian Perez, and Yulia Dortico against Dmitry Kudryashov. Smido, the cruiserweight definitely stands out, doesn't it?
Oh, that cruiserweight is absolutely fantastic, and it's just more evidence really that the Europeans, or the Eastern Europeans particularly, are taking over the cruiserweight, and it just shows what can happen when you've not got a British or American promoter or powerhouse involved. It really does. It's after that. Obviously, the launch show looked the part, to say the least. We like production on this podcast, and that certainly had the production factor. Yeah, it's brilliant. Every name that you wanted from the cruiserweight division is in there, and it's going to help cruiserweight casuals like me because it's going to be easy to follow. And not only is it going to be easy to follow for obvious reasons, it's going to be easy to watch because the likes of that Duriorkis or whatever his name is, and some of the Russian cards, although I do dig them out, they're not all that easy to physically watch often. You know, we've had fights taking place in Paris, I think, a cruiserweight fight, South Africa, and obviously Russia as well. So it's great to sport it all together. It's going to be entertaining along the way. Mike Perez is a wild card in every sense of the word. and it's just it's going to be real interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. Sauerland have got more of a the super middleweight tournament, should I say, has got more of a Sauerland feel to it. I think it's obviously not as deep talent wise, but it's a shame because the super middleweight division in America, is not that great. Given that the Durrells are potentially leading the way there. And obviously James DeGale, who we would probably all agree is the #1 super middleweight at the moment, and he's not in it, and neither is Ramirez. So that's probably going to show us who #2 is at the super middleweights. But all in all, if it stays together, and as we know, and as we've seen from the original Super 6, it's a big if. I think the Eubank factor is going to cause chaos at some point. It's going to have to. It's simply going to have to. But yeah, I think as long as we see George Grove get knocked out, then I'll be happy.
Hey to Dave, 16 fighters over 2 weight classes. You have to get up for this, especially the cruiserweight one, as I said to Adam.
Yeah, I'm thrilled with this. The cruiserweight one especially. First round matches are pretty good. I favor Bradis and Dorticos, or Dortiquois, or I don't know how you say his name, but he's a Frenchman.
There's
going to be an upset here, I think, in this first round. There's going to be something. I think one of the first round seeds are going to pick up an L here.
Who, Andy? Who's it going to be? Come on.
I'm going to go for Dorticua. The simple fact is nobody picked him, apart from obviously could Dorticua go fucking left with him actually, but Uzik's went for Huck. Perez went for Perez. We don't know what Perez is now at the minute, cruiserweight. We've not seen him fight a live body. He's something suspect about that fucking physique as well. Who was the other one? Diablo against Gazaev. Gazaev's my outside pick for this. I think Usyk might win it, but Gazaev is going to be in and about there. And I'm assuming the way this draw is going to work is going to be Usyk and Gazaev in the final. But I think
Gazaev will beat Vladarchik, won't he, Andy?
I think so. Diablo's tough as fuck. He is tough, but he's past his prime. He's decent. He's rangy. He's got a good jab. He's tough, as I say, but ultimately he's past his peak. To the days they beat Steve Cunningham in that anyway, put it that way. But I think Kudryashov, he's not great, but I'll tell you what, if he hits you, you're going to fucking stay hit. And I think with the Cubans, man, the chins are not the strongest, and sometimes their will can be tested. So you just don't know. I think the big Russian hammer could be the one that's the outside bet in the quarterfinals to getting through to the semis, I think.
Mm-hmm. At the end of the discussion before you bell,
you're breaking up a wee bit there, Steve.
Who's going to win them both?
Yeah, you're kind of breaking up a wee bit, mate.
Oh.
Try again.
What about now?
Aye, fine. Here you go.
Right, yeah, sorry. What I was saying was, at the end, I'll get everyone to pick their cruiserweight winner and pick their super middleweight winner before we move on to Bellews of the week. Ozzy, hopefully you can still hear me okay. Tell me this. Question from Matthew Fallon. He said, if Callum Smith wins the WBC Diamond title, does it count as a legitimate world title?
No.
The WBC signature?
No.
Never.
No chance. It's just some hundreds and thousands belt that they get another sanctioning fee off, and it's a lot of bollocks. Smith's gone with the easy route again, hasn't he? Like, he'll beat Skoglund. I think he's coming down from light heavy, isn't he? And it's no better than what he's boxed already. Now, I know he's seeded, so he gets the pick of the draw, but he's just gone for a cheap option, really. It's not an expensive fight to make. Like they said, it's penciled in for Liverpool already. But no, it's definitely not a world title. They can say it all it wants, but everybody who understands the sport knows it's not a legit world title.
Word on the cruiserweights as well in this tournament, Ozzy?
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And if anybody says a bad word about it, I want to know why. It's absolutely brilliant. There's 4 very, very good fights. Now, I mentioned about the semi-finals before. I think from what I read somewhere that the winner of Usyk and Huck will be against Bradis and Perez, and then the other 2 will meet, and then obviously after that it brings you final. So it'll be there's not a bad matchup wherever you go, is there? And I agree. I think there will be an upset. I don't know what to expect from Mike Perez. Like you say, he's had one fight at cruiserweight, and it was against some pudding who went down after a bit of it wasn't even a shot.
10 seconds, wasn't it?
That gust of wind, wasn't it? And he blew over, and he wasn't getting back up. But no, brilliant format. And if it's a success, I'd like to see it happen more often, because if this needs to happen to make the better fights, then I'm all for it. They're on about when are they looking to have it wrapped up by the summer of next year? So it's short and sweet. It gives people the fight dates should you keep winning, and if you lose, your stock can rise and you can go elsewhere.
Rob, final comment to you. I'm sure you're buzzing for this as well. Question as well, Rob, from Joey Master Mode. If you were each of the fighters at each of the weights, the seeded fighters, who would you have chosen if you had a chance? If you were a seeded fighter, Rob, let me question this correctly. If you were a seeded fighter, who would you have chosen in each tournament?
I think they pretty much all chose correctly. I think Usyk with a good choice for Hook. I think he knows he's gonna get him. I think the guy that picked Perez, you don't know. I think Perez has the style to beat a lot of these Eastern European styles if he's anything like he was at heavyweight, as a cruiserweight. And like I said before, as Ringside had a couple of Perez fights, and the boy can definitely bang. So I think he might surprise a couple of people and make it a little bit long in this tournament. I'm looking for the super middleweights. Unfortunately, is still going to be pretty much a dull division after this tournament is completed. There's no real stars there. There's no real super talents there. I think Groves could do quite well there. So but again, I go to say I'm all for it. Like, at least we get to see all this tied up, even if it's not. We get to see who's the number 2 guy. I'd like to see. Obviously, in the cruiserweights, we got everybody there. I'd like to see Ward move up and beat Bellew, and then fight the best out of the tournament. But that's not going to happen.
Okay, Kev. Who's Kev? Sorry, Rob. Do you want to give us the eventual winner from both weight classes?
I don't know. I think Usyk has a good chance in the cruiserweights. I think Groves has a good chance in the super middleweights. But I'll know more after the first round. I don't really know a standout winner in each division so far.
Ozzy, who do you think is going to prevail from this standpoint? Obviously, as Rob said, we don't know who's going to come through. But who do you think at the end of the tournament will still be standing?
Usyk in the cruiserweights, and I think George Groves will win the super middle one. However, I will be backing Avni Yildirim. I think it's a decent price, and watched a bit of him, and he looks pretty good. And he's had
hard as fuck.
Yeah, he's had legit tests as well. Like, he's going in against Eubank. With a bigger block, Eubank is relying solely on, I think, should he beat Abraham, just fitness. He's not a puncher. He wasn't really a puncher at middleweight, so the extra weight's not exactly aiding him. So I think, Yildirim. Not sure what to make of Rob Brandt. I thought he was a middleweight, so he's jumped up 8 pounds. You'd like to think he has enough to beat Jürgen Bremer. But no, George Groves, and with an outside bet on Avni Yildirim.
And the super middles and the cruisers, who's going to come out?
Super middleweights, I say I'm not too big on that, because you've got middleweights coming up and light heavyweights coming down. They were really struggling with that. And again, you just don't know if we're going to have any injuries, and that's going to fuck things up on the Eubanks. You just not got a clue about. But I'm going to go for Groves at the minute. Super middleweight. I just think experience-wise, he's been there and done it, and he's come through the other end, shall we say. So he's the most experienced, I think. Bremer, you just don't know about Bremer and Skoglund coming down the weight. Those guys haven't made that weight in about 6-7 years. That's insane. So I think they could be one and done, basically. Cruiserweights, it's between Usyk and Gazayev. About Perez, actually, I think if Perez is getting knocked out in one round of Povetkin, who is 230, 240, these cruiserweights are rehydrating to like 220. So it's not much a big difference, actually. I think he could get chinned. I don't think he's been the same fighter since the Abdusalamov fucking fight, which was really tragic. So we don't know. I don't know where he's sitting at. But as I say, I'm hoping to get to some of these cruiserweight fights. Bredis against who's he fighting again?
Usyk would be nice. if they can both get by the first round. That's the fight I've been waiting for.
The thing with Usyk is I don't think he hits hard enough, and Gazayev has got lights out power. He might be a wee bit slightly low. He might be maybe more basic compared to Usyk. Usyk's got good movement, good foot movement and stuff, but we've not really seen his chin tested, have we? So I think that's going to be the fight. So 50-50, I think, but I think Usyk would prevail. But I'm kind of still backing with Gazayev as well.
Okay, hey to Dave, who are you going for in both of them? Hater.
I still got to favor Bradis overall for the cruiserweights. I think he can beat all the guys in there. But I mean, that's a tremendous tournament. So I mean, anyone really is a live dog in that, except for Huck, in my opinion. I don't think Huck, or Kudryashov. Honestly, I don't think either of them. Huck is too far past it, and Kudryashov is too limited. But the other guys, anyone of those 4-6 can win it. And the super middleweight, got to favor George Groves right now. Yildirim, not that good, in my opinion. I just took a look at his record. I saw his. I didn't watch the whole thing because it was boring, but I saw his parts of his fight with Paraban. Didn't look that good to me. Looked kind of basic. He's gotten some decent wins so far against guys who've been tested, but nothing outstanding. I don't think he can beat Groves.
Yeah, before we get Smitho in finally, my pick, I know people are going to think I've gone completely spazzo, but I'm going to actually say that these tournaments throws up some surprise results. I'm going to go for Yildirim. Ozzy mentioned him for the super middleweights as an outside bet. I'm going to pick Yildirim to win that. And at the cruiserweights, I like the look of Bradis, but I think it's not. I don't know about Usyk. I'm going to go for Dortico for the cruiserweights. I'm going for Yildirim for the super middles, and I'm going for Dortico for the cruiserweights. That is a completely left field picks, but well, I guess it will all come out in the wash. Smitho, what do you think?
Steve, you're going to make some money if you back them. I think it's probably relevant to run through the odds, to be honest. So I will.
Yeah.
Super middleweights, Callum Smith has been made the favourite at 13-8. That has actually shortened a little bit since an opening price of 2-1. George Groves 2-1. Eubank Jr. 7-2. Bramer 14-1. Cox 16. Yildirim is 28-1, guys. Skoglund is 33, and Rob Brandt is 40. Just looking at the draw of the super middle, assuming that I'm reading it right. I don't know. So is it saying that potentially Smith and Groves fight in the next round? Yeah.
No, I thought they'd meet in the final.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh,
I'm on the Super Series Twitter, and they're listed as the first fight Grove, the second fight Smith. So I was reading it there. Anyway, Yildirim looks decent. He's obviously unproven to the British casuals eye, including myself. So I don't really know who's going to win that. Bramer's fighting it the wrong way. Rob Brandt could be anything. Rob Brandt could quite easily beat Bramer. So that one's wide open. As for the cruiser, we have Usyk as the favourite. Quite strong favourite actually. 11-10 on. Gasayev 5-1. Bridis 11-2. Duriokos 10-1. The Russian Hammer 16. Perez 25. Vladolchik 50, and Marco Huck 66. So that's a bit more open in terms of prices. Obviously, Usyk's a strong favourite. I'm sticking with Bridis in that, but like I say, from reading it from the Twitter feed, I must be reading it wrong. So who would Usyk potentially fight in the second?
Someone told me, mate, I was seeing it on Twitter there, that the winner of fight 1 fights the winner of fight 3, and fight 2 fights the winner of fight 4. In
which case, that would mean that Usyk and Bridis are likely to meet. So I would split my stake on Bridis and Gasayev, to be honest. That would be my answer.
Thanks, Smitho. Any final comments? We do have a couple of questions at the end, and then the bell of the weeks. Any final things you want to add in?
On these tournaments, it's probably an obvious one, but I'm assuming it's likely that some of the super middle and the cruiser fights potentially take place in the same venue on the same night.
Yeah, or maybe on the same night in different venues, split across different countries. Am I completely reading this wrong?
No. I mean, that's what they did with the original Super 6. But I can just see a Bramer fight on the same night as Usyk.
No. I'm looking at if you're on this if you go to the website, mate, go to the schedule, right? And I'll be honest with you, the way the schedule's kind of set up, it looks like we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the quarter-final fights in September over those over 5 different dates, and then we're going to have the last 3 fights in October on different dates. And then the semis will be on different dates in January, and then the finals will take place on different dates in May.
Okay, yeah, I've got that. Yeah.
So it would be insane to put all these fights on the same day. Actually, I think they have to put it on separate dates. I think that would be the best thing.
Yeah.
It gives an option of what fights you want to go to as well, you know. And by the way, see if anybody want to go to Russia, I'll go, but as long as I go mob-handed, I ain't going there myself. Like, fuck that. I've been once before, man. It's fucking hairy air there. Like,
we might need Seb for that journey.
Why?
Seb, RIP. Okay, that'll do for that, guys. Let's get the Bellew and out of here. There is some slight variations to the Bellew of the week this week. I've been getting some quite strong feedback over the past few weeks on the YouTube, on Twitter, on the Facebook page. People saying that they're fed up with me reading out the casual comments on Bellew of the week. You know, the things that the casuals are coming off with. So I have listened. I don't know if anybody wants to give me feedback if they're not happy with this. But if you want to send me casual comments, I'll put them up on the Facebook page the following week, as I usually do, but not read them out as part of the Bellew of the week list. Now, this is going to cut down Brian's contributions to about 10% because he seems to find them all. But a lot of people, and there was about 12 or 15 likes on the comment of the guy who said it, don't want to hear the casual comments, so that's fine. I shall omit them and see how we get on for next week. And we're running short of time tonight as well anyway. So, right, first of all, let's nominate Tom Kelly has nominated James Toney. James Toney apparently wants the rematch with Roy Jones Jr. Come on, Roy, stop ducking me, he says. Let's make this happen.
He just retired 2 weeks ago.
I know, friggin' hell. He says, you gave Otis Griffin a rematch, you gave Tarver a rematch, let's give me one.
Fuck.
All right. Dean Glover has nominated Spencer Fearon. He said, I predict Joshua Buatsi will fight Anthony Yard. This fight will happen for the Unified Championship of the World.
They look like 2 different weight divisions, they two. Even though they fight in the same weight division, they are fucking. Yeah. They do look like, you know, physically, you know, just they look totally different weight divisions.
I have to say fair play to Spencer Fearon because I after the Ohara got whooped, I looked up that tweet of Spencer saying 2 tanks is Lloyd Marshall, and I quoted it and said, "Oh, poor Lloyd Marshall," and he favorited it. So he's got a sense of humor about himself.
Well, Spencer and Ohara had a bit of beef a while back, and Ohara was calling into question Spencer's fairly mediocre professional boxing record, and that was when I got blocked because I said something like "burn" and put up a load of little flames. And Spencer blocked me for that, yeah.
So he doesn't like him anymore.
No, doesn't like him anymore. Right, Rob Kelly mentioned Ronnie Davis earlier, and Toby Hines has nominated him as well. Apparently, Ronnie Davis was talking in IFL, and he compared Chris Eubank Jr. to Sugar Ray Robinson, which is Bellew of the Week worthy itself, says Toby. But he said apparently Ronnie Davis said, what did he say? He used a comparison of moving and punching and said it's like when Robinson knocked out Carmen Basilio with a left hook. This never happened, says Toby. Sugar Ray won a split decision. The left hook knockout while moving backwards was against Gene Fulmer. Ronnie Davis was trying to show off his knowledge, but ended up looking like a dick. Not many people, Andy, would have been able to pull him up on that, so fair play to Toby.
Aye, as a fair play, mate, you'd obviously need to have watched some of your old school stuff. That was a good knockout, actually. The fucking guy just folded like a set of deck cards, didn't he? Fucking legs went to him and just that was it, right on his arse.
Nomination for Ronnie. Joe Ringer has nominated Matchroom Boxing. Fresh from her impressive winning debut, Natasha Jonas has been named Sky Sports Sportswoman of the Month. That's a bullshit title if ever I've heard one, says Joe.
Oh fuck! Hey, I got told last night. I'm not going to say who. It was named in the promotion though, but they did say that she's purely in it to try and get one big payday, and then she's retiring.
Right. Well, good luck to her. I suppose maybe the Katie Taylor fight there in the similar sort of weight class.
Yeah, possibly, mate. Possibly. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to say too much.
No, that's fine. Brian King has nominated Naota from the Boxing Coalition. Naota said that Errol Spence at 147 is the favourite versus Horn, and that he knocks Danny Garcia clean out. Brian King wasn't too happy about that one.
Danny Garcia's shape. He's got a good chin, like.
Oh, he has got an excellent chin.
I still think Spence knocks him out.
Big call from the hater there. Matt Simpson has nominated Dillian White. Dillian White called Julius Indongo Julian Malinga on the Toe to Toe podcast, even though he fought on the same card. Okay, fair enough. Matt also nominated Spencer Fearon for saying that Jeff Horn is a pay-per-view worthy fight. Spencer Fearon is just fake news. Plain and simple. Who else have we got? Marvelous Mendo has nominated Tommy Dove for a press conference that he did during the week. It was pretty cringeworthy stuff. Rory McGonigal has nominated Tony Sims for saying that Ohara Davis can beat everyone, including Terence Crawford at 140. That was before. He also...
Oh, Steve just cut off there a wee bit.
The next self, actually, Crawford. Am I breaking up again?
Nah, you're okay, mate, when you go.
Don't know what's going on. Thought I'd solve this. Let me have a look. Let me move a bit close to the machine while I bring this next one up. Let's have a look. Simon Lucas has said nomination for Sky Sports, an article about Conor Ben's power. I am the knockout artist. When I hit people, they quit. Okay. Conor McGregor, if he dies, he dies. He says about Floyd Mayweather. He's also been nominated. This is a good one from Rory McGonigal. He said, I was looking through BoxRec last night and I came across a Russian fighter who was boxing for the IBO belt. I looked him up to see if he was any good. Apparently, his claim to fame is that as an amateur, he won a silver medal at the World Cup of oil-producing countries.
Fucking hell.
Silver.
That's the best version of a world title I've ever heard of. So I thought that was a good one from Rory there. The World Cup of oil-producing countries. Chris Blackman has nominated Kevin Mitchell. My prediction for tonight's fight is Ohara Davis wins by KO inside 10. It could go as early as he wants it. Hashtag as soon as he lands.
Yeah.
But he only did land about one clean punch the whole fight.
What about the Shadow, by the way? He was the same, wasn't he? The Shadow.
He was.
Bass.
Rob Barnett, who was on the pod earlier, said Tony Sims has been nominated for saying that no one will beat Ohara Davis at super lightweight. Toby Hines recommended Channel 5. Even though Josh Taylor was winning all the rounds, they had him 30 points to 45 down after 6 rounds. I think someone made a mess of the graphics there.
Fuck.
I can't remember who nominated this one. Ohara Davis. I watched Josh Taylor and I was shocked. I can't believe people think he will beat me. Oh dear, Ohara.
Multiple offences for him this week, like.
Oh, many offences, Andy. We'd be here all night if I was still including the casual comments. Luke at Dab has nominated the announcer on BoxNation for saying the WBO European Champion of the World.
Dab.
I seem to remember Michael Buffer did something similar a while ago whenever Junior Witter was fighting on undercard against Lovemore and Do. I think it was out in California. And Buffer announced it as the Commonwealth welterweight title of the world. Ozzy doesn't like that when he disappeared. Luke has also nominated Macho Grande for offences about Daniel Dubois. This is a good one from Jack Nalty. He says, can I nominate my mom for Bellew of the Week? Whenever Josh Taylor was handed the Commonwealth title, she says, looking at the colours, was it to commemorate gay pride? What a casual, says Jack. Jack's mom. Rocco was nominated Ohara Davis in his post-fight saying, boxing is the same as WWE. Wrestlers lose matches, but they still go on to become champions. Flip sake. Ben Scott has nominated Tony Sims, claiming Ohara will be unbeatable at the weight. Darren Neal has nominated Spencer Fearon for claiming Josh Kelly is reminiscent of Pernell Whitaker. And let's have a look. Who else have we got?
Fucking
Sam
hell.
Clark, that's a casual. Ohara Davis has been nominated again. Andy, you nominated... Oh, no, it wasn't you. It was Kane Clark has nominated Danny Flexen for saying that Ohara Davis showed heart. I can sort of see where he come from. And Rob Barnett has nominated Ohara Davis for saying both my noses are blocked. That's all of them. Any nominations, guys?
Eddie Hearn, just for that huge L he took there last night off the boys. And Ohara Davis, just multiple offences about his bus pass and his 2 noses, and just basically get told to get off the phone off his missus and that, so he's under the thumb as well, so multiple offences. In fact, I just want to pick Ohara Davis just for the whole fucking thing.
I forgot one from Dominic Henry as well. He's nominated Brendan Crossan from the Irish News. He said that Pacquiao troubled Mayweather with a couple of left hands, which should encourage Conor McGregor. Dave, Rob, whoever else is with us, any more nominations?
I got a couple. I did a little, these might come across as casual comments, but I didn't make any promises to the fans who were fed up, so I'm just going to say them anyway. I did a little sweep of YouTube, some of the pre-fight IFL videos. I guess IFL watchers are big Matchroom casuals, because there was a lot of support for Hora Davis on those comments, such as Bradley Wilson 1 month ago, easy work for OD. DP 442 days ago, Taylor too emotionally invested in getting sparked inside 6. Amy McPhee 1 day ago, this was in response to Barry McGuigan saying that he favors Taylor. Shut up, you leprechaun has-been. Jewel C 20093. Taylor is another wank Scottish boxer who's getting KO. I'll come back Saturday to say I told you so. Jewel did not come back. Conrad Dent. This was after the fight. Had OD up by 3 points.
What?
This is Fight IQ. This was 3 days ago. I've got a ton on Ohara on Ohara by knockout, so he best do LOL or I'm skint. And then after the fight, he came back to his comment and said, "Gutted, guys. I'm fucked now for a week. Don't know how I'm going to eat. Nice one, OD." And then there was another one. I have to give credit for this guy. This was 2 days before the fight. Mac SS said, "Saying it a while now. First dog fight, and this flat-footed fool be gone. Gets stopped inside 6 or he quits. No dog in this cunt. Money to be made." He called it.
Oh, Ricky Burns as well for saying it was a close fight after 6 rounds.
Yeah, we'll nominate him as well.
And I got one more for Ohara Davis. It goes along with all the others. If I hear the bell in the 6th round against Taylor, I'll walk out of the ring.
Oh, he almost did.
Yeah. Rob, any from you?
Yeah, well, that Roddy Davis one is shameful. Like, anyone to see Ray Robinson. It's funny, when I met Manny Stewart, we went for dinner and we were talking boxing and all that. Like, and we went back and we were in the hotel where Andy was for his fight. And we got talking about that Fulmer knockout. And he got me up in the lobby of the hotel and he was like, "Now, throw the right to the body." He was showing me how he set it up. And I was there in the middle of the hotel, like, throwing right to the Manny Stewart's body. "Now, throw the left hook." And throwing it, and like, all journalists and all came out, like, we're looking at us all weird and everything. Joey Gamachi and all that. Anyway, that was really weird. But sorry, I went off the topic. Yeah, that was shameful. But I want to nominate Eddie as well because I think I remember an Eiffel video where he said if he saw Tommy, he was going to give him a tickle. So I heard he didn't want to give him a tickle last night. So
he shat the bed.
Eddie could have walked out with only one ear if he wasn't careful.
Oh, you see, his problem was last night he didn't have the bomb squad security with him last night, so that's the reason why he shit the bed.
I think he's trying to become a little bit more like Tommy. It looked like he was putting on a little weight.
Put a bit of beef on that. I just noticed that.
Right.
He'd be raging about putting that on as
well. Okay, I'm going to go for Jack Nalty's mom about the Commonwealth title. I thought it was a cracker. Rob, who are you going for?
Ohara Davies, just for the way he went out.
Either way, he went down in every respect.
Yeah, what a jacker! Like, yeah, brilliant. We're talking about entertainment. All right, pal, that is entertainment. Keep it up. Keep up the good work.
Andy, who are you going for?
OD, baby, OD. Because another thing as well, actually, he actually wanted to get his belt back off Josh last night. You know, the WBC title thing that he had, and they refused to give it back to him. So he was forced to go into the change room and apologise, and they actually started videoing it. So he actually got his belt back. So we'll get to OD just to kind of boost that confidence a wee bit, baby.
What do you reckon, Dave?
Well, OD's won it this week, and I wouldn't nominate him just because I feel a little bit bad for him. I mean, it was such an awakening for him. Like, he was so shocked. You could tell even today in that what do you call it, Periscope thing he did. He's still so shocked that all these people who hyped him up so much lied to him. Like, he's like, what happened? Like, I thought I was supposed to be like this great fighter, but so I feel kind of bad for him because I think he did try, and then he quit. But I was going to nominate Richie Davis. I mean, yeah, Ronnie Davis for that absurd Sugar Ray Robinson comparison.
That'll do, lovely. Andy, let me hit you with one question before we get out of here. I was supposed to go, but the horse has bolted quite literally. I heard the door slamming. So let me hit you with this one, Andy. If Eubank Jr. says where Shaw comes through the Abraham fight, should he go back to the Sowerlands with an offer and attempt to keep the WBA regular title from Zuga to put him in line for a shot at Groves? Obviously, this was written before the Super Series. Do you think a Zuga versus Eubank Jr. fight would have been of any interest to you?
Eubank Zuga? No, not interested in that fight, mate. Zuga's not even world level, and Eubank isn't even proved that he's European level, so no interest in that fight.
No problem, Andy. That'll do. We had a few more questions. We'll carry them over till next week. Thank you to Andy Patterson, who you heard there. We also had Rob Kelly and Dave Loback are here till the very bitter end. Tommy, the Guru Allen, had to bail early because he wasn't feeling very well. We had Russ on, we had Terry Dooley, we had Ozzie Smith, we had Rob Barnett, we had Andy McKetch, something of that nature was on as well. McCart, that's right. Yep, I can't remember if anybody else was on. Thanks very much. Adam Smith as well. We'll catch you next week, guys. Cheers. Bye.
Rest in peace, Marlon B. Wright.
Eddie's a grass.